each year.
Mhm.
And we're live because JPO's not here to say it, but he will be soon, hopefully. But the rest of us are here. Your lonely marks
Mhm.
on a Thursday, here to talk some wrestling, talk some classic wrestling too.
Oh
As
yeah.
you can see in the title, Clash of the Champions one, which not to give anything away, but better than I expected. A lot better than I expected. I expected like a good show, but mm, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. But I'm not alone, um, despite what the title says. Um, I'm joined by Austin. Austin, how's it going?
Oh, I'm good, man. Yeah, we're gonna have a little fun tonight. Yeah, talk some news and yeah, this Clash of the Champions show. I didn't know what to expect going in, but yeah, we'll get into it a little more depth later. That show was awesome. I'll just say it right now. That show ruled. I loved it. So and I like some good old wrestling with the crowds and whatnot and the reactions, but we'll get into it. But I thought that show was
Yeah.
great. I thought that show was fan freaking tastic.
And Richie is also here. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, look, we're the ones who are here who are proper lonely. None of this girlfriend business.
Mhm.
And yeah, I couldn't decide how many O's Woo has. I guess it just depends how long you hold the hold the Woo for. Woo! I can't even do a Woo. I'm not even gonna try. But yeah. Look, yeah, the show. Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, the show is great. But yeah, and we got plenty of news. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are in the thick of WrestleMania season, um, and I don't know that I've ever like actually asked you guys what your favorite WrestleMania is.
Mm.
Like, I know we've always talked like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. But like, what is actually your favorite?
Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for me, it's almost like exactly a tie. I mean, I know I don't want it to be like a cop out, but I don't know if I could choose between WrestleMania 17 and 19. Those are pretty much like just my favorites, you know. And we're going
Yeah.
to talk about 19 in about 2 weeks, but I think just top to bottom, the cards are amazing, the crowd's amazing. It's got the star power, but it's got the good undercards. They're just kind of like perfect WrestleManias for me. They feel big, they are big. And then, yeah, there's been other good ones, throughout the years. WrestleMania 30 is a good one. Like there's some really good stuff, for different moments and matches and whatnot. Obviously, the stuff with like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels is great, but I don't remember a whole lot about like the rest of that card, and things like that. So to me, it's like I could rattle off the cards of like 17 and 19 like pretty quickly, because I will watch those start to finish. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about that as far as the main events and whatnot, but I think it's the tie between those two. Those two are both great for me. The ones I go back to and watch a lot.
Yeah, I mean, not to kind of be boring, but yeah, it's between 17 and 19 for me as well. I probably edge towards 17, like much like Haley Steinfeld. And there you go. But I do like WrestleMania 19. One that sort of is in the mix as well, like that kind of like skirts in that maybe the second spot is WrestleMania 20. I do love that show as well.
I like WrestleMania 20 as well, just for
Yeah.
the kind of stuff around WrestleMania 20. And yeah, you had some really high profile stuff. I mean, you were back in Madison Square Garden, so it doesn't feel like as big crowd wise, but I mean, you do feel like the atmosphere of that one being the 20th anniversary. I think remember they did a bunch of cool stuff, kind of around that thing, and some good feuds going into it. So that was what even 21 to a degree was a lot of fun with the Hollywood theme. If you remember, they did all those like Hollywood like trailers and stuff.
Right?
Yeah, those were a lot of fun.
They tried to redo them like was it last year when they weren't great anyway. I feel like maybe WrestleMania didn't hit their stride until like WrestleMania 10 was really good, and then 11 and 12 weren't. And so I feel like it hit their stride maybe WrestleMania 14, but then so I feel like it's interesting, but yeah, it's
I would almost argue 15, just because at least 15 had Rock and Austin in the main event, and that felt big because it was like your two biggest, sort of attitude era stars finally clashing in a big main event, and it felt pretty epic, at least at that point.
I feel like Mania 15 is one I have to go back and watch because I remember that match being good. I mean, so it was like I'm glad they literally could have gone with like Vince and Austin because that was when Vince won the Royal Rumble.
Right. But luckily they pivoted from that. Yeah.
I do remember that also. That was the show where Boss Man got hanged.
That's right. Maybe that's why we don't go back and watch it a lot because that's really awkward. Boss man getting hanged.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Fun for the whole family.
Yeah, right. Exactly. WrestleMania 15, fun for the whole family. Watch and see somebody hang from the rafters. That's great. Because we haven't had wrestlers commit suicide over the years, and that ages poorly. Not that Boss Man did, but that's still kind of in poor taste when you go back and watch that.
I mean, he still passed away young, which is.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, he didn't die from that, but yeah, I mean, he was still like, relatively young. Wasn't he like in his 50s or
his 40s? He was in his 40s.
40s, that's right. Yeah, he didn't. Oh my god, I hate that's so. Ugh. Yeah, when that happens, that's rough.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, no, I don't know. It is weird too. I don't know that even WrestleMania as you think, like probably arguably their best year in WWE's best year was 2000s, but I would argue that WrestleMania is their worst pay-per-view of that year. It's weird.
Yeah, that was a bad pay-per-view. That's why nobody talks about that Mania, because that was also the Mania that had no singles matches, if I remember right.
The only singles match was like the Cat versus
Terry.
Yeah,
but you got no other anything on the undercard. The main event was a 4-way. Yeah, it was a clusterfuck that whole thing.
It was so weird though. There was a match. I'm pretty sure there's a match between there's Kane and Rikishi versus X-Pac and Road Dogg. Like you could have just done Kane and X-Pac because that was the big feud. Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, like 1917, and then you guys shouted out 21. But I have a soft spot too for 26. I think 26 is also really good. The one with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, the one that actually main evented, which I argue is a better match than their WrestleMania 25 match, but that could be a discussion for another time. But I think like the undercard is pretty good. Triple H and Sheamus that sticks out. I didn't think it was just a really good card from top to bottom. Couple misses, but they can't all be 17 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm hopeful that this year's WrestleMania could be really, really
had
good.
it ended with Cody winning the title, you could have put 39 up there. 39 was pretty damn great. It was close.
Yeah,
and if you take that out of the mix, 39 was a pretty damn great WrestleMania both nights. They had really good undercards, really good matches, like really good atmosphere. I think just that's going to be a sour point for some people when looking back on the Manias, despite how they've kind of rebuilt it back up or whatnot. But yeah, had it had that sort of happy ending, I think we would be talking about 39 as well in those sort of top 5 WrestleMania, conversations.
Could you imagine the outcry if it happens again?
You know what though? You know me. I never bet against Roman in big matches, so I might do it again.
Right?
I don't
so
know
hard
because then they hang this shit about Hulk Hogan's record, and I wonder if they're gonna another 3-4 months till he gets there. I wonder. It makes me do a double take sometimes. They still mess with people. I don't know. That's one that I don't think it's gonna be as easy to call when we do predictions for it as most people think. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with these records right now, that's one thing that bugs me, but they're obsessed with these records.
Look, I get it.
I don't get, but
I get it for the Intercontinental title thing. It makes them more prestigious, but I don't know. And at least got the defense it, but
yeah.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to the Sami Zayn Gunther match. I mean, it kind of happened just like we said it was going to, but it's interesting now where Chad Gable fits into WrestleMania because I think he deserves a spot at WrestleMania. But you get Otis and Akira teaming up for Alpha for the tag team, and that didn't make sense to me. Gable's a star, and the dude can go.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like I think we said in chat, maybe he or I think we said maybe I think said last week. I think maybe you go with maybe he's just set as the first challenger if Sami Zayn wins, which maybe is he was kind of, if you watch Raw, he was kind of a dick to Sami Zayn. I don't So I don't know if because I do tend to agree with you now that making it a three-way would kind of like make the gauntlet pointless. Like, oh well, like Sammy gets Zayn on the gauntlet and you're just gonna put Chad in who lost. So yeah, but I don't know. Maybe he weasels his way in there somewhere. But
yeah, I mean, if it's explained well and he like earns his way in or something like that, then that's fine. But don't just add him in. Like, yeah, you can be in too.
yeah, really. Yeah. So like I put Gunther sort of like maybe in the Roman Reigns position where like I don't know if I'd bet against him, but like I could see Sammy winning. I just think maybe the Gable thing would be more interesting because they pointed out in the match too that Gable hasn't won a singles championship in WWE, and Sami Zayn's already been Intercontinental Champion multiple times. So, I don't know. It would have been interesting.
I just hope they give him some time at WrestleMania. If they give those guys like 20 minutes, they could fucking tear the house down.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, not just like 11 minutes like he's been getting for a couple of these matches. Give him like a good 20 minutes, man, because that title has gotten prestigious enough to where you could give him like a good chunk of time, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I would too, especially at WrestleMania, man. You saw what he was able to do at last year's WrestleMania, like.
Yeah, that could almost be like the semi-main event of like night one or something. Like I could easily see that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and unless they add more matches, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't give them time. There's only 10 matches, although we are still a couple weeks away, so something could.
I was gonna say they've still got to add some more stuff. So like, I'm surprised they haven't like filled out the card a little bit more. I mean, we're getting a little bit closer. Yeah.
We got to have Maxine Dupree versus Candice LeRae.
We don't.
I don't know if that. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you could talk about that. That was a weird angle. Yeah, but it's basically, I guess Candice turned heel. Yeah, that was strange. But I don't know if they're actually going to do anything.
Yeah.
But I guess Candice adjacent is that teams qualified for the. We can talk about teams qualified for the. For the tag match at Mania, the ladder match. I'm coming around to your idea though of like, maybe it's a way to split the titles back up, and one person gets one belt, one other person gets the other belt. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the teams that, of course, it'll be vacuuming. I mean, like a lot of the teams that have advanced are the ones that I thought were going to get in. I still expect British Strong Style to get in as well, and yeah. But I think
Republic. New Catch Republic.
Yeah, whatever their button. Mustache Mountain without only one having a mustache. The Birminghammer, which is a good name for a move. But yeah, so I sort of expect that it frees up Damian Priest to run out WrestleMania. I don't know. I reckon he's not going to successfully cash in. There you go. That's my early prediction.
I would hate that though for like 2 years in a row.
I know.
But also, I could see it happening, which sucks.
Yeah.
But, you know what also sucks? Vacuums.
Yeah,
they do. Boom. You've been doing comedy lately? Did you do that joke?
No, you don't do vacuum jokes. I think.
Yeah. What's the deal with loud vacuum cleaners? You think they'd be able to quiet those things down after 50 years?
Yeah.
Does it really have to have the whirring noise? Even the Dyson ones make noise. I thought they make all the silent stuff.
Yeah. Guns have silencers. Why don't vacuum?
Yeah.
Hey, it stopped.
Probably maybe I was.
Sorry if I seem distracted. It's because I'm watching the main event, which is really good.
We'll talk about it. It's really good, except for the fact that they replay about 5 sequences over and over again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get to it. The judging panel's a bit random.
Yeah, the judging thing was always weird to me that they did in NWA. I think ASAT's finally done, by the way. Finally. I know why, because Steve Mason was asking questions with like 9 answers apiece. Throughout the whole damn way. Just stop doing that.
Yeah.
Just do it for the final question. Anyways.
But
One of the main, I mean, one of the main chicks in the panel. One of the
The
chicks in the
penthouse
panel.
chick?
Yeah, she's from Frankenhooker.
and Wally Haskell.
I didn't look. I looked her up, but in a different way because she was a pet of the year.
Yeah, she's the main chick in Frankenhooker.
And Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years was in Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Back to the Future.
and would go on to work with Eric Bischoff on stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. He popped
Such
up
an
on a
odd
couple of
choice for a
WCW
choice.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess he's a big wrestling fan. Even going back to
But
that.
yeah,
So that's cool.
the dude looked like he hadn't gone through puberty in the show. He was
Yeah.
fucking young.
Oh, for sure.
And then what I thought like someone Osmond, the dude who played Leave It to the dude from the new Leave It to Beaver. They were like
Eddie
Haskell.
Eddie Haskell, yeah.
Who had, I guess, a spinoff that was not successful because I don't remember Eddie Haskell having a spinoff show. I don't remember that at all. or the new Leave It to Beaver, is that what they called it?
Yeah, and apparently the show didn't do well, and he felt typecast and couldn't get any roles, so he quit acting for a bit and became a cop.
I guess I'm wrong though. It said 1983, 4 seasons. What?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, but he quit acting afterwards and became a police officer, and then he retired and went back to acting.
Oh, okay. So here's what it was. It bounced around different networks. So it started on CBS, then went to the Disney Channel, then went to TBS. So technically around 4 seasons, but it bounced all over the place. So
Wow.
Okay. That's like with Cobra Kai, how it started out on like YouTube Red. Anybody remember that? And then it was like, and then Netflix like finally picked it up after the first season. Yeah, it's like, but it didn't actually start on Netflix. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Barbara Billingsley. So Jerry Mather's still on there. Okay. Basically, Giovanni Ribisi. I'm not watching this shit. Giovanni Ribisi was on this show. God damn it, he's in everything.
On the new Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, he's on the new Leave It to Beaver. He plays Duffy Guthrie. He's in the main cast. He's like 11th build, but that still means he was on the show a decent amount. He was a recurring character. So he's like God damn, he's on everything. I can't get away from this guy. We watch a Clash of the Champions with a dude from a show I've never heard of, and Giovanni Ribisi is part of it. What the hell? Go away. Go away. That's a TV credit. Jesus Christ. He's on 2 episodes of Married with Children. I can't go watch those now. Blossom. He was on the Wonder Years too. Jesus.
He's on the one there.
Yeah, he was on the Children. No, Married to Children is amazing. Married to Children will be on our show, Jacob. All right, we might have a crossover if we put that down.
Will it? Well, I won't now, just because I know that it's going to be. So I'll be like, all
right, go pick another one for me.
Let me just pick another one. Yeah. There's going to be some. If you guys thought a certain someone had some interesting choices the last time there was a TV versus, I might also have some interesting choices.
Yeah.
Like 1 season shows. Like, remember
maybe
that?
I might have a couple of those.
Remember that weird suit spinoff, Pearson? No, I don't know.
I'm gonna put WWE Velocity on my favorite shows.
WWE Sunday Night Heat.
I'll put WWE
Shotgun Saturday Night.
Saturday Morning Slam, which is a thing.
I'll put WCW Livewire. Did you ever watch that on Sunday mornings?
Yeah.
when it was like Scott Hudson and somebody else, and just like every like mid card jobber would actually get squash matches, like against even lesser jobbers. So it'd be like, Lash LaRue would get like a win over somebody, or
Joey Maggs.
Yeah, just like the random like tag team guys would get like a singles victory over somebody you've never heard of. I used to watch that. Yeah, and that was the same thing with like Heat, where they would just half the show was that just squashes, and then half the show was they would just recap whatever happened on like Nitro or whatever, essentially just like Heat and Velocity. They're like, oh, here's what happened on Thunder, like that. So
I would watch Heat just so I could hear Rob Conway come out to the no pop. It was just like you'd get absolutely nothing all the time. I feel bad for the guy, but
Robert Conway.
Listen to those shows and get the you get the crowd noise they would pipe in. They call it the hair dryer pop.
Yeah, you know I see that the ladies the woman scream, which is like
Yeah, like no, what? That girl was in the front row for every show. That's crazy.
SmackDown used to do it all the time. It used to annoy the shit out of it.
Really annoying when they weren't live. Yeah, when they taped it on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the shows are live now.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I think it's better to just have live shows. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
tape shows can help, but when you tape shows sometimes in advance, like you could something gets screwed up live, and then you have something already taped, you can mess things up. Remember when Nitro used to tape all the shows at Disney World like 4 weeks in advance? And then you couldn't change anything. Raw used to do the same thing. Raw used to tape all their stuff like a month in advance. That's why WCW would go on and give results at the beginning of the show and tell the audience like what happened on Raw, but then that backfired when Mick Foley won the title.
Right.
Because then they said, "Oh, Mick Foley's gonna win the title," and everybody went, "Oh, Mick Foley's gonna win the title. Let me go watch that."
That's amazing. That's better than what you got.
Yeah. What are you putting on the same time slot? Oh, Kevin Nash just yapping about something. All right, I'm gonna watch Mick Foley.
It was. I remember that. It was around the same time, the exact time when then Tony Schiavone said that. I think Big Boss Man, another. We've mentioned him twice now. As it was a Big Bubba came out, and it was like, oh, they'll put butts in seats. What are you offering at the moment?
You offering Big Bubba? Yeah, get out of here. That was the same show. That was the same show where Mick Foley won the title on Raw, and they did the finger poke of doom on Nitro. So everybody tuned out at that point, because that was one of the dumbest angles ever, where Hulk Hogan poked Kevin Nash in the chest and pinned him for the title and to garbage in the ring. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go watch the competition, who's putting on a much more exciting product right now.
and then Hogan literally got on the mic and shit on the segment, and then said, "This is why the company's dying." Yeah, okay, cool. I don't.
They've been done with ASAP for like 10 minutes now. What the hell's taking so long? They're just yapping. Jesus Christ! Shut up, Mesa.
Plugs, parting words.
I'm a champion. I'm just letting you know I'm the champion. I'm on 2 belts. I'm the champion. I'm the champion. I'm on the champion. I don't take it seriously, but I'm also the champion.
Hey, we can talk about a lesser news item, but it's still interesting. What about Shayna Baszler and Masa Slamovich at GCW? How about that shit? Huh? That came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I mean, we've known that Triple H is more laxed with letting the talent do outside things or bringing outside talent in to do stuff. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect maybe Shayna Baszler to do Bloodsport until she maybe left WWE. But yeah, it's the right the right person to do Bloodsport. Obviously, she's got a UFC background. And yeah, but Master Slamovich, I said in the chat, my future 6th wife, she's quite hot, and also a really good wrestler. That probably should be my first note as opposed to being hot. But I'm a dude. But yeah, look, it's intriguing. I've only watched bits and pieces of Bloodsport in the past, but I might check out the whole. It makes me want to check out the whole event. I do wonder if they're going to get anyone else. There's other people in WWE that I would think would be decent at it. Like just throwing it out there. Like we talked about Chad Gable before, and like Drew Gulak is someone I think about as well.
Well, I'm still wondering, are they going to book Riddle or not? It used to be his Bloodsport.
Yeah, I guess he's doing stuff in New Japan now. I don't know.
But I mean, it's his show. Like it was originally Matt Riddle's Bloodsport. So like now that he's not employed with WWE, like wouldn't you want to get him for Bloodsport? And like that would be
you would think you'd get him for Bloodsport doing something. Yeah.
I mean, get him to do something now that he's around. Yeah, unless he's already booked for New Japan stuff around WrestleMania time. But yeah, that's another thing is I guess we'll start to see those all the other companies start to announce their WrestleMania weekend, cards or whatever, because everybody books, there's 100 shows around, all hours of the day. That's one of the reasons why I want to get back to WrestleMania at some point because, it's like they did some of the stuff. The manias I went to in Orlando, they did have other shows, but it was mostly just the kind of really big companies because I went to like 2 Ring of Honor shows, they did like a doubleheader like Friday and Saturday night, before Mania. I worked, refed a few shows for like some of the local Florida companies, but now it's like they get everybody, I mean, everybody does their best to like bring their whole roster and book a show. So yeah, you get GCW, you get some lucha shows, you get like a New Japan show, you get
Impact.
you get Impact, you get all the big like MLW, like MLW run stuff. You get like a Ring of Honor show, you'll get all kinds of stuff. And like I want to get back to Mania because literally I remember looking at the schedule for the Dallas one because I was there 2 weeks before WrestleMania, which sucked because if I was I just happened to be in town for a family thing. It's like, oh damn! If we were here like 2 weeks later, I could go to some wrestling shows in between because they do wrestling like 24 hours a day for like 4 days in a row. I mean, literally, you can go to wrestling brunches, you can go to afternoon shows, you can go to those like midnight like Joey Janela shows. That he does it like Midnight Madness or whatever. Yeah, that. Yeah, you could do like all that late night stuff, and the WWE's always doing like their meet and greets. There's always like a WrestleCon convention going on with like legends. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So I'd imagine they always end up like sites end up putting up, all the, all the schedules and whatnot. But I want to get back to one of those, especially if they do it in Vegas next year. Because I know it's between Vegas and Minneapolis, I think, for next year, or like the two in the running. Yeah. I know Minneapolis put in a bid for it. They're one of the ones higher up, and then Vegas is also high up on the potentials. So I think it's one of those two.
Was the last time they were in Vegas? Was that WrestleMania 9? Or did they get?
That's what I mean. Like they need to get back to Vegas and do like a better, Mania. Because and even that one was a small place. It was at like Caesar's Palace outside with like 1,000 people. Like it wasn't even that many people.
Well, it was basically a car park. There was a good explanation. I think it's on Wrestle Talk. I felt like WrestleMania 9 just because of where it was, because it was a car park. It was WrestleMania for casual wrestling, not even like for pro wrestling fans. That's why you had Hogan in there. So I feel like that's what you win the thing. I feel like you need a proper wrestling show for wrestling fans in that building. But I wouldn't mind Minneapolis. Obviously, if you haven't had that in a while.
They could theme it, Twin Nights in the Twin Cities, or something like that. I'm sure that's what they would call it because it's Minneapolis, St. Paul. You get like the Twin Cities thing. Twin Nights, Twin Cities, something like that for night 1 and night 2. But I just mean Vegas, can easily handle all the fans because there's 1,000 hotels there. Like it's not that difficult. That stadium that they have now where the Raiders play is brand new, like that brand new stadium they have out there, the Allegiant Stadium or whatever it is. And you can even walk there from like the strip, like they have like a walkway that goes straight there. It's pretty cool, and they have that T-Mobile Arena is brand new. Where you do Hall of Fame and all that.
Yeah, there's also the kind of the added thing where like they're under TKO, which is with UFC, and UFC's base is Las Vegas, so you could kind of do it.
Yeah, because they run out of the MGM Grand still. That place, with their arena.
They do the T-Mobile sometimes as well, but there's also that new venue, the Sphere, that they're going to do.
If they did something there, that would be interesting. Although it doesn't hold that many people, though.
Yeah,
outright. It's kind of a relatively smaller venue, but obviously T-Mobile, they would do, whatever NXT show would run that weekend. They do the Hall of Fame there, whatnot. But yeah, Impact has run that the Sam's Casino or whatever, Sam's Town they've run there before. So yeah, like they would probably book that obviously if they went there. And there's venues outside of like downtown, that all the other places could run, the little venues and whatnot. And like, so yeah, somebody could run the MGM Garden Arena, to tie in with there. But yeah, that would be interesting because see them go back to Vegas. But Minneapolis I could see as well because that's a major city that I don't think they've ever done WrestleMania in Minneapolis, right? They've no.
This is when any JPO and go on cage match and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that. But it'd be interesting. I've thought about going if they do it in Vegas, I've thought about maybe getting out there for that. Yeah. I've even talked to you, Jacob, and Jordan behind the scenes. Be like, we should all get a Lonely Marks, hotel room and just go see some wrestling shows for a couple of days. That'd be fun.
It would be
there he is.
There we go.
Oh, wait, this started already?
Yeah. What was Steve asking questions with 8 answers apiece? What the hell took so damn long?
In my slight defense, that was the longest one we've ever had. So I know now. Don't put rules before ASAP rules before something else. So yeah. Because I just looked it up. We've never gone over an hour 2. That was an hour 28, and normally they're in the 50 mark.
Yeah.
Right. So, oopsies.
But
we actually haven't really talked that much news. We've been just vaguely talking about WrestleManias and past WrestleManias and potentially future venues of Vegas and Minneapolis for WrestleMania next year. And the only other really news we've talked about is Shayna Baszler, Masha, which is a WrestleMania weekend.
Masha? Nice.
Yeah, that's
pretty interesting that we got a WWE
So,
person on.
we actually kind of we've been stalling for you to get here, but not really. We've still been talking, just not really hit like current this week news. So feel free to chime in whatever you want.
But yeah, we were saying has WrestleMania been to Minneapolis before? I was
I
saying
don't think so.
This is where we need JPO to go on Kate
To fact check. No,
Oh, I can look it up. I mean, I don't even know how to look that up.
I don't think it has.
Someone Google it. I don't know.
Because obviously we said Vegas was WrestleMania 9, but I think that was the last time they went there.
Yeah.
With the Caesar's Palace.
No, unless it's Madison Square Garden, Florida, or that Vegas one. I don't know. Canada, maybe.
Yeah, they've been to Canada.
I hate
times.
locations.
Yeah.
They went to Canada for 18.
They've been to Dallas. They've been to a couple. They've been to
Yeah.
all around Florida because they've done Tampa. They've done Orlando. I think they did Miami.
Yeah.
They've done all that. They've done L.A.
They need to come back to Seattle. That's where they need to come.
Seattle for 19. Yeah, Houston.
Yeah, we're all going to Vegas next year. Didn't we say this already?
If they announced Vegas,
there.
but I know Vegas and Minneapolis are the two top contenders right now, so it could be either or. So I would imagine whoever gets it this year, the other one will probably get the following year. So whatever it actually is. But I know Minneapolis put in a pretty heavy bid too for it, so it could be them. They usually announce it at WrestleMania, like during the show. They usually do like a promo video. Yeah,
Florida got kind of screwed. I mean, that last Mania in Florida doesn't count. It was fucking half the people. Come on.
Oh yeah, the COVID one. Yeah.
First it was canceled completely, and then we got like the shitty COVID with like half the crowd was cardboard cutouts.
That's weird. That's not gonna age well either.
They still had half the crowd. I mean, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get back there at some point. I remember thinking that I missed out on seeing Kairi Sane elbow drop off the pirate ship thing. I want to see that, but no.
You could get up there evidently. I've seen photo people on that thing, so like they could have been up there. Somebody could have been up there.
That's what Tampa has. Jacksonville has the pools. Literally. The pools and the cabanas in the one section. That's a thing.
Seattle didn't have a cool set. They just had a
baseball stadium. Hey, you had Limp Bizkit. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit playing Undertaker's theme live. That was cool.
Who may or may not make an appearance when we do my birthday tournament. There might be an album on that.
The Chocolate Starfish. That might be the
there
one. You go. Yeah, that's a good album. No, legit.
You know the song really where he says "fuck" like every other word.
It's the first song on the album.
It's kind of.
There's like 46 of them.
It's great when you were me and your mom made you get the uncensored version. It's literally the world, the blood, the kid, the knife. Like that's all it is. It's the entire.
You had to buy that Walmart CD, the censored version.
Yeah.
I was allowed to listen to rap, but I had to go to Walmart and get the CDs because they had the censored version of Walmart. That's what I had to buy. Because my parents were worried about that.
Which, at least for me too, made no sense that like I could see an R-rated movie usually. But then, like for some reason, when it came to music, my mom was like,
"My mom was weird about language. She just doesn't like the F word. She's not a fan." So still to this day,
I used to make the joke where like she would look at me with disdain if I watched like a Tarantino or Kevin Smith movie and be like, "I didn't write it. Like, sorry, like I'm not the
go watch Scarface where there's like 250 of them. That's really awkward. Wolf of Wall Street where fuck is a comma. So.
Yeah, I remember being in like a kind of a feud with my mom for a few weeks just because she wouldn't let me watch South Park, Big the Longer Run Cut. I'm like, I watch it. Why? That's where I hear those words all the time.
I had to sneak that in on the like a Stars free preview. I was like, I found it at 1 a.m. I taped it quietly while they were, looking.
Hey, is that water, JPO?
Hey, do us back your review.
Circle water. Yeah. Flavored water. And it is flavored. It's strawberry.
Oh, okay. Oh, strawberry water. And what do you give it out of 10?
Well, what's cool about 1 out of 10, by the way, you can actually adjust how much flavor you want out of 10.
What?
So one is just straight up, I'm drinking water. 1. A 3, you get a little bit. A 6, a little bit more. And a 10 is like, oh, I'm drinking
Dude, we're living in the future. Water. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
that's a future shit. That's some like.
And this is also seltzer water. If anyone sees me grab this can, this is.
I have the Aldi version of sparkling ice called Sparkling Frost, and I like it more than sparkling ice.
Yeah. Just for you, JPO, I decided to go with water. tonight.
Oh,
So I
oh.
didn't want to be that
Let's get a
guy.
good look at that. Pour it out in the cup. I want to see what it looks like when you pour it out too. Yeah, does it look good?
Yeah.
Well, what brand? Oh,
Great Value.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
don't know about Great Value.
Well,
You're a better Jacob.
Walmart.
You're a better Jacob because I played Papa West last night and I just told him, you went, oh, that's cool, and unzipped a Dr. Pepper and chucked it. And I was like, oh, you asshole.
I know I should have been drinking Coke during this, but I don't want the caffeine before I go to bed.
It's not. You guys can drink whatever you want.
Yeah, I know. Hey, good for you, man. I hope you stick to it. That's good.
And also,
Yeah,
congratulations
don't
on
buy
the
it.
victory last night.
That's right.
Yeah, you're lights out divisional champion. You got to fight Dim. We'll see if we can pass Dim. Get one defense.
Yeah, I was hoping. Not that I don't want. I kind of was. I was angling for Papa to win just so he could go back down the ladder, so I could fight because I'm ranked so low. So I wanted to go back down the ladder so I could have another shot at it because I almost beat Topher and it did. And
Thanks, Richie. Yeah. Thanks. You're a good friend of mine.
I am, but I just have to. Honesty is also part of it being a good friend.
Hey, you know what else happened this week?
Like
Adam Copeland won the TNT title. Want to talk about that?
Last night.
He did.
Yeah. That's something else that happened last night. Two things happened last night. Two title changes.
Yeah.
Couple title wins. Yeah. This one was actually, weirdly enough, more surprising.
Yeah.
Less surprising.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, like I said, I have a hard time catching Dynamite live because Wednesdays are so busy for me. So I do like watch the clips. But AEW does this thing where they'll put like 10 to 12 minute clips, where WWE puts like 3-minute clips. So I do appreciate that about AEW because like I feel like I got the majority of the match and the gist.
I
of
appreciate
it,
that WWE has at least been uploading the promo segments with like Rock and Cody and Roman, like those things, like the full segments, because I can't watch it live, but I've at least been able to follow.
SmackDown's the only show I don't get live, so I do usually see it on YouTube first.
Yeah, but that's cool.
That SmackDown promo by The Rock, by the way, is phenomenal.
Oh, it's half rock concert, half promo.
He is something else. Give him all the my time he wants.
You're welcome.
And as we said in the chat, he finally brought back. It's like a remix, and then they remixed into the Hollywood theme, which was awesome.
Yeah, right.
We finally got it back. The 03 theme. It was great.
But Adam Copeland is a 2-time TNT champion, and he's already held it longer than he did last time. I think he's still the champion.
No, he is. Wait, actually, I didn't watch Rampage. Did he lose on Rampage? No,
Which was directly after. I didn't know that because the March Madness tournament just started, so they'll.
Yeah, and there is no. If anyone's looking, there will be no Collision Saturday either. It will be 2 Saturdays from now.
Because again, March Madness. They've been playing on TBS and for like.
Isn't it a weird thing? Remember when WCW used to get bumped because of NBA Finals and March Madness and shit? Now AEW is getting the same thing with basketball. Yeah, they're having to like delay because of that.
That sucks. Maybe just because I like wrestling, because I'm like, damn, really can't fucking get a Sunday afternoon slot or Collision. When's the last time Raw's just gone nothing at all this week? Do they ever do that?
They have been I remember it was kind of. I remember being amused because sometimes like Raw would be preempted by dog shows, like the Westminster.
No, dog shows and back then dog shows and tennis. They used to get.
But then when did they do like a Friday?
Yeah.
Like sometimes
it's
just straight up no.
Sometimes they would push it, but sometimes they would just show it at like 11 o'clock at night. They would literally just delay it, and you'd have to stay up super late to watch.
That's what I'm saying. Like I kind of wish they would try that, but this is just straight up. There's just no Collision. It's just not happening.
We're just not gonna have a show.
Nah.
I guess I saved money for finding an arena that week, but like, I just say it kind of sucks for fans. 2 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, the talent might like, hey, we get the night off. Okay.
They have such a big roster, Jacob.
70% of the talent already get a night off.
Exactly. Like, hey, we'll work a Friday show, a Thursday show.
Actually, from what I'm hearing, a lot of them fly to the show and then find out if they're doing anything.
Yeah, these days,
yeah. They don't even know if they're going to do anything when they show up.
They've been doing that for the longest time because I used to even think of like when I watched like Being the Elite. And I would be like, they show the people that were like in the arena, and I'd be like, that person didn't wrestle this week. There's Dark Order. Cabana didn't wrestle. Evil Uno didn't wrestle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many. There's always people in the back not doing shit. But to be fair, I know WWE used to be big on that too. They used to joke about how JTG had way more catering time than TV time. You know?
I feel like there's probably a bunch that just show up and go like, hey, if you need me, no, we're good.
Bring your gear. You may or may not need it.
All right. But, thanks anyway, Lee Moriarty. Yeah, but you're a good talent.
You're a good kid. Pat on the back.
Yeah.
But it was weird watching the clip online because it faded to black, and I was like, "What happened? Did they not upload the end of the match?" But apparently, it ran over into Rampage.
That's right. It does it
2 minutes or something. So no, he won it on Rampage. He didn't even win it on Dynamite.
True. Well, wait. Okay, this might be the nerdiest of nerd questions you'll hear all night.
Yeah.
Is the match a Dynamite match or a Rampage match? How do I put it in my archives?
Yes.
The article I saw when I was looking up what happened this week said Adam Copeland wins the TNT title on Dynamite.
Okay.
I would say Dynamite because the majority of it was Dynamite.
It started on
Dynamite. It over.
Yeah.
It was a minute. He does the.
That's that's another nerdy thing, JPO, where if let's say somebody's at WrestleMania, it's one of those long WrestleManias, and it goes past midnight, did they win the title on that day or the other day in the archives?
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, it's the other day. It's got that in case would be the other day then.
Right, but if it started at let's say 11:50 at night, but the match ended at 12:15, then what day did he win the title?
I feel like you should go with when the bell rings in the end.
Right?
I don't know. It's a good question though.
I'm sure it's happened before. It has to have happened to some of these later WrestleManias.
I was saying, did this happen with Roman Reigns and Triple H? What time did that match end?
I don't know. I had to.
That was a long
and ended on different days. Yeah.
I think it's still going.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever gone past midnight. Are we sure we've gone past midnight?
Oh yeah, I remember staying up past midnight for one of them because I remember watching some match being like, "Holy shit, it's 1 a.m." and they're on the main event and being like, "Fuck."
I remember there was.
I feel like 32 could have.
I remember there was a WrestleMania a few years ago where there was absolute bedlam because it went over time. I think it was the one where Becky won it was 2019 where Becky won the. Yeah, after Becky won belts, people couldn't get home because there was no. It went over so much.
People were leaving because they had to catch trains and stuff. The last train leaves at midnight, and people had to leave WrestleMania to catch a train home. Yeah, there was stuff like that. I know they have that in England sometimes. Where you run late and the subway stops, literally people get stuck. And you can only get a cab. It's
What was it? I know this is not wrestling. Yeah, I know people were mad at Justin Bieber because he showed up so late that a lot of people got fucked and left on an island because they couldn't get home.
Yeah,
because of the bridge closes at a certain time, kind of thing.
Right. At that point, I just give my money back and leave. You better give me a refund.
Right, but that was the thing. That was the shitty situation you were in. Is that okay, you came all this way, you spent all this money to see someone you love. Do you either A, get your money back now, B, see half a show, but then risk not getting your money back, or C, you're kind of fucked, you have to get a hotel. It's just shitty all around.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. By the way, this Lonely Master sponsored by Prime. There you go.
Okay. I had one of those last night, only the energy drink version. There you go. I'm also sponsored by Prime.
I meant to look that up to see how bad that is compared to. I almost bought them today, and I was like, "Oh wait,
it's probably bad.
It's probably not great.
How bad it is for you, nutritionally?
Yeah, I don't know. Look at that. How much of a step down is it?
0 sugar, supposedly. For the energy drinks, yeah. 10 calories, right. 0 sugar, not bad. Yeah. Looks like you're only getting a tad bit of sodium. That's it. 70 milligrams. All right, not too bad. Anyways, Okada also won Eddie Kingston's title, right?
Yeah,
that's apparently isn't the 3 belts.
In the chat, yeah, he held up just that one AEW Continental title. They never showed the other 2 with him on it. They just said you're Continental Champion. So yeah, and of course I think, and then Hershey mentioned they're very much leading to Eddie versus Mark for the Ring of Honor title. So yeah, so I guess not every title is always on the line. Didn't have to be. Although to me, feel like they were. But so yeah,
it is. I didn't know if it was a package deal either. Yeah,
no, we were never sure from day one what was going on. And now we have an answer.
I thought they were a package deal because Eddie made it a package deal, and I just think maybe they realized hey, this package deal kind of fucks over Ring of Honor a bit.
But we've been saying that since day one. They just realized that. I can't believe they're that dumb. I'm so confused how they didn't see that.
We watched our show and they were like, "Oh,
yeah." Guys, have you seen the Lonely Marks? All right, so hear me out.
Listen, they made some logical points. Yeah, that MGF angle where he, where they had Adam Cole substitute with a guy with a worse injury. That is pretty fucking stupid. I probably should have changed that.
That's why I can't love that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think the rule for that
So, yeah,
is
so I
don't
mean,
do
good for
that
Okada.
ever.
Okada's this. Oop, I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
You're
back.
good. You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I just need one of you. All right, just check, Rich. Stop it. No, I figure they're not going to have Okada lose his first this is his first big singles match. So if they wanted to be a star,
Yeah.
you could have done like a DQ, I guess. But this just made the most sense.
Yeah.
I just thought that would leave it to Dynasty, but I get it.
That was actually my next sentence. Yeah, I'm surprised. What are we? How many weeks away? Like, are they gonna? Yeah, it seems like a dynasty worthy match. So
I'm guessing they're going they're heading in the direction of maybe a Carter and Park, but then what do you do with it?
I mean that's dynasty worthy too.
Yeah, that'd be a great match.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're saying there's an article that said Danielson made a statement that says him and Will Ospreay will not be the main event. So, yeah, it just shows you what else could be on that show. I mean, it could be the title. It could be Joe and Swerve. Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
let's go Swerve. Swerve.
No, I'm saying it now. Even let the match be an official. Swerve's champion at the end of the night.
Yeah, Swerve's running.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not, we riot.
Well, you got to start setting up that Swerve and Ospreay at Wembley. You know what I'm saying, for the title.
Hey, man,
you got to get it done. That'd be a fucking great match.
I'm down. Yeah, like I said, that jumps in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we said it. Me and I sort of saying it last week. If they do Mercedes and Julia Hart, I mean, we could just say Mercedes winning. Julia Hart's gonna win.
Yeah, it's super easy to predict. Yeah,
I know they are leading to her and Willow probably even one-on-one again too.
Yeah, I think Willow's turning heel. It looks like, but
maybe. That's a weird face or a weird heel because she screams maybe, but who knows? I don't think I've ever seen her as heel, so maybe it's great. Maybe it's a Bailey moment where I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
JPO, you got anything else that you want to bring up?
Mm-hmm. Cody said a bad word on Raw. Ooh. They made a big deal about him saying little dick energy and shit like that, it's just it's an attitude era all over again. He got permission to say one bad word. What the fuck?
And it was not even that bad of a word.
Yeah. Please. Come on.
and he said the Rock had a little penis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to discuss. Do you think there's any controversy with the Maxine Dupree angle they were doing with Candice?
I briefly touched on it.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're referring to. You have to fill me in. I don't know what that
so
means.
Candice LeRae all of a sudden is maybe becoming heel, and in the middle of a match, she was like, "What do you don't even deserve to hear, something about your dead brother," which is a legit thing. Her brother died, and then she kind of went away crying because at house shows it kind of went viral. There were some really shitty fans that were like, "You suck, Maxine! Fucking get out of here! You suck!" And then other people came to her defense on Twitter and whatnot. And now they're kind of making it into an angle about whether or not she belongs. And they also mentioned the dead brother, which is some people think is kind of off limits. But obviously, my defense at the end of the day is, I'm sure it was cleared with her. So if she's fine with it, then it's fine.
It's not like that's the first time It's not like the first time they've done that. Remember they did it with Paige and Charlotte, that was kind of bad as well.
Charlotte, Natty's dead. Jim, the Riot Squad had some shit with her about that.
I mean, isn't Christian's entire character right now? I know it's AEW, but it's all about dead dads. For real. I mean,
people love that.
I mean, Rock has been,
How does Christian get away with it? But some people are mad at Candice online.
Well, Rock and Cody have been going back and forth about family stuff and mentioning, Dusty's, not with us, and talking about moms and dads and being a mistake, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's what they clear it with each other. I'm sure this stuff doesn't come out of nowhere. They probably ask them if it's okay to say these things.
But also,
it's a spontaneous thing.
It's the dumbest thing ever to be mad at Candice for saying it. It's not like she just said it out of a whim. It was just no, she should. It was part of a storyline.
There's zero doubt that and also the fact that they re-brought it up this week too. Even more of zero doubt that this wasn't obviously given permission by Maxine. Who knows? I even doubt it was Candice's idea. I'm sure this was either Maxine's idea or a writer's idea. So yeah.
Yeah,
I love WWE uploaded like a backstage clip of Ivy Nile getting involved, and they called it a brawl, and it was really her just pushing Candice LeRae down and Candice LeRae walking away. So
clickbait brawl.
It was just as big of a brawl as the stuff we saw in Clash of the Champions, just as big. What a brawl!
Quite.
Yeah, well, I will say, like, I'm kind of glad that they probably recognize. I don't think they hadn't really done much with Candice, and she wasn't really catching, like, because of that, like, she wasn't getting much reactions as she should be getting in WWE. Like, she was just sort of there, and Crowd didn't really care. So having a be a heel, like, might kind of give her some traction, because yeah, she is one of the more talented women on the roster. So hopefully they use her more often now. So I don't mind the heel turn, and I don't, I don't even mind the angle. I think it was.
Yeah, no, that's true too. This is the most of an angle that Candice has had pretty much her entire career so far. WWE wise. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then of course I know you guys are excited. New TNA tag champs Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
pretty excited.
I will say it does. This does. I mean, it did remind me of some news that would be kind of interesting. Apparently, the Motor City Machine Guns contracts are coming up. TNA. I think from memory, I think from what I read, that they're still going to like potentially work with TNA for a few dates, but they're not going to be contracted to them. So technically, they're available. AEW, WWE, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I could see them on WWE at this point, but you can never know.
I mean, they still didn't need 2 more teams for that ladder match. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'd love to see it too, Barbara. That'd be sweet.
I mean, they did have Hardy show up as a surprise that one year. Remember for the ladder match?
Yeah,
but it is also the Hardys, WWE legends, not hey, these TNA guys, huh? As much,
but I feel like you're going to be in Philly. Pretty smart fans in Philly.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, and with the reaction that Jordan Grace got, I think the Machine Guns could get the.
I think people are a little smarter than you give them credit for, as far as like at least the big stars.
I don't know. I still think they think that way. So maybe not. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. So
I feel like the Motor City Machine Guns are way more well known than Jordan Grace, and she got a pop. So
I also think there's a big difference between a Rumble spot where there's 30 and also like a title match in Mania. There's also a difference in that too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying I think the reaction could be the same.
It'd be cool. I'd be down for it because I mean, honestly, like at this point, there's not a shit ton left to do in TNA. Like they kind of are due for like new scenery. You know what I mean? Like they both held the world title. They've held the tag titles. They've held the X Division. Like I would love to see some new scenery. And there's really only other options unless they do like Japan or something. Like I don't think NWA would be worth it.
Right.
I also think Jordan Grace got that pop just because it's like, one, it's a surprise, and two, it's like it's one of the least, it's like one of the persons you least expect. I know, like Mickie James said that present, but like you still don't expect it like to happen again. So I think it was just that surprise pop. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And Mickie James had that, like she's been in WWE before. Like Jordan Grace has. I mean,
and Mickie James is straight up announced. Mickie James is straight up like, hey, she's being this.
Which I don't believe they should have. That would have been awesome if they didn't announce it. But
I think it created enough buzz that I think announcing it, like I think if it was somebody else from the roster that year, like that doesn't have WWE ties, then like that would be a big shock and a big moment. But somebody like I was fine with it, but I could see both points.
I do love the fact that we live in a world of possibilities now. Like I know you already touched upon Shayna going to GCW, but that's still pretty interesting and not something that would have been possible, a couple of years back.
Yeah. No, I know that kind of came out of nowhere. And we were all like, "What? Shayna Baszler in GCW?
Yeah.
Like what? And did she get fired and I didn't know about that? I was like, "Oh no, she's still employed." Like, oh, weird. Okay, interesting. Hey, but cool. I mean,
we were talking about other people that could potentially go through, like maybe like Drew Gulak. I guess that'd be interesting. Like
Game. I don't know if you. There is other people. That is true. And speaking of that, actually, I didn't even think about this. That's technically a WWE versus TNA match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on a GCW
course.
show. That's like Taz versus Mike Awesome, a WCW wrestler, WWE wrestler for the ECW title and an ECW show. Yeah, like that's weird.
That's cool. No, I would imagine it was just Shayna being honest with them, like, "Hey guys, I don't know if she's booked for Mania. Is Shayna doing anything at the moment? She didn't like a tag title match or anything. So
not as of right now.
Hey,
no.
I've always wanted to do this thing. Like, fucking if you ain't using me, let me spin my wings a little bit.
Hey man, I could see a tag partner being involved as well. That maybe in a match too. Zoe Stark could be interesting in that realm as well. But
it'd be interesting. But again, Zoe Stark is.
I mean, she doesn't come from that same sort of background,
right? Yeah, no. There's a difference between someone like a Damon Kemp, Charlie Dempsey, and Zoe Stark.
Charlie Dempsey would be good, actually. I wouldn't mind that.
That's what I'm saying. Anyone from that kind of North Quarter catcher, anyone that's kind of more of a direct, chain wrestler might be kind of cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Dempsey. Sorry. Yeah.
No. I was going to say Damon Kemp, but don't forget Gable Stevenson's brother that has way surpassed him already. Remember Gable Stevenson? Signed to Raw and has had 0 Raw matches.
He's had just a couple of dark matches, right, here and there, and that's it.
He had
an with Baron Corbin, which was shit.
Yeah,
which people shit on. But yeah, he was a Raw draftee like 4 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
With
Odyssey Jones, remember that dude? Anyway,
poor Odyssey. And him, I don't get because he actually was proven to have good matches, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah. But
Gable makes sense. Gable was them going, this is our next Kurt Angle, and then before they counted their eggs before they hatched. This is our next Kurt Angle. He's gonna be great, and then not meant for everybody.
They did him no favors there. Like, don't say his next Kurt Angle when he's just
you put him on Raw, or you at least said you were gonna put him on Raw. You showcased him out at Mania. That was another one. Stephanie fucking was like, look at him, our newest signing. Like, they hyped him up to where he better be fucking great, and he was the opposite of great, and so it was their fault.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to say is Charlie. If you want to know a guy who's looks exactly like his dad, Charlie Dempsey looks exactly like William Regal. It's it's almost like the Brock, Brock's daughter thing. It's like, holy shit, there's no paternity test needed for you.
Speaking of, when are we going to see William Regal back on TV?
He was on NXT briefly. Just talking. He had a bit of a back and forth with his son.
They drawed him out a couple weeks ago, so he is kind of in the ether, and he's there physically anyway. So it's just a matter of if there's something for him to do. I was gonna say that's kind of sad. I feel bad for Brock's daughter now. Brock's daughter probably could have easily been a top tier WWE person, but now she's probably blackballed too to a degree.
There is news that I guess before we get in closer, that's the other rumor is that they're looking to get Brock back into the fold. So maybe there's hey, oh really? Maybe there's an issue where hey, Brock's not as it came out maybe Brock's not as good guilty as it seems. I don't know, or maybe they're just kind of because apparently there are also people who are getting Brock in the game or something, or they've added Brock back to the roster page or something on WWE.com. So that there's signs there that that relationship might be improved a bit.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see over time, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Anything else? You guys want to talk about?
Trying to think, what is there anything?
I don't think there was much else. It was kind of a slow actual news week. It was just mostly the stuff that happened on Dynamite and Raw, things like that. Not a whole lot of news because I guess we're done with our Hall of Fame announcements for the most part. It looks like.
I think there might be one more left.
I don't know. There wasn't anything else announced this week.
Not this week, but they might.
Unless they're saving. Actually, I don't know. I mean, if they were going to induct Ray, I think they'd have announced it already.
No,
I'm looking forward to the documentary series that they have coming though on Peacock. I am looking forward.
Oh, it's the movie. It's not a series, is it?
From what movie, it might be from what I saw, somebody mentioned that it might be a multi-part thing, but
okay. I don't know. I thought it was just one, but I could definitely be wrong. But yeah, regardless, either way, yeah, I'm totally down.
I just still think Bray should be a headliner in his own induction thing, and I think because we're in Philly, I think Paul Heyman should be the headliner. And
no, we're definitely way past that now. No, they're not going to announce them now on the 20th. No, or I bet at this point it would be the 25th, 27th, whatever.
I mean, if they do a Warrior thing, that would be the last thing announced. But I don't even know if they are because Dana's not even there.
Dana's not there, and Ultimate Warrior is a piece of shit, so I don't think they should. So I don't think. I think we're way past that. We're never gonna see that again. They might rebrand it down the line. I could see that, but
they probably only doing it because of maybe Vince and him are on good terms for a while.
For whatever reason, he's one of those dudes that Vince just, which is really weird considering how many times he also fucked Vince over, but Vince just really had a hard on for him, and not like the. Anywho,
but no, I mean it's weird because they did that whole documentary,
they should
call the Ultimate Warrior or whatever, or whatever it was called, like just shitting all over him basically. That was weird, And then they made up.
Evidently, they were close. He was like a hurt father, and then finally he came back to the fold, and Vince forgave him and made a word out of him and everything.
Well, fun trivia they were actually. They were going to the Bret Hart DVD they brought out. It was actually they were going to do a self-destruction of Bret Hart DVD, but then they kind of they worked out a deal with them, so they just they changed course to kiss his ass as opposed to But they were going to.
I think the initial idea was like, well, he'll never work with us again, and then finally when they got him to agree, they're like, oh shit, never mind.
Edit out all the stuff with people talking bad about him on the documentary. Re-edit that shit, and then. Everybody say the opposite.
Because that's his first step back in. Technically, is him agreeing to do the DVD. Even at that point, it was like, oh, he's doing the DVD. It was like an actual legit news thing.
Yeah, right.
I think I've told you the story, but I got the DVD, but it's because I went to an autograph signing and I was like, look, and you have to buy a DVD in order to get something signed. So I just went. I gave mum money. Like, look, just grab whatever wrestling DVD. She came back with a Bret Hart one, but the guy in the signing was Booker T. So I've got a Bret Hart DVD with Booker T's signature on it. I don't even think he's on the.
I can match that story.
Yeah,
I'll say that's my fucking present.
No, match that story.
Mm-hmm.
We went to see like Wrestling Legends. And I try not to be greedy. There might have been 1 or 2 items per person, but I had 2 friends that they didn't really care, so I just gave more items to them to get signed. But my friend fucked up, so I have a Ring of Honor DVD that's headlined by Punk and Joe, signed by Kelly Kelly. Because Ricky Steamboat was there, and Ricky Steamboat's the guest ref, and so I wanted him. So it's signed by Steamboat, which is pretty sweet. And then right next to Steamboat is Kelly Kelly. So, yeah, it's the most random thing. It didn't bat an eye, too. Because I saw it happen in real time. I was like, no, fuck no. And then Kelly
What do you say?
I feel like most convention people have probably had that experience once or twice in their life if you go to a lot of conventions.
That is one of my favorite. Same show. It's actually, hey, speaking of the devil, we're going to talk about in a minute. Mike Rotunda DVD, and it's signed by Bray, Bo, and Mike Rotunda. I got one thing signed by all 3, which I feel is not a super common piece.
Yeah, probably. All right, but yeah, let's get into it. Speaking of Rotunda, who's in the opening match of the show we're going to talk about, and who is an upcoming Hall of Famer as part of a tag team that nobody remembers. And I ranted about that. I ranted about that last week.
Actually did.
Yeah, right. I ranted about that last week. I'm not going to do that again this week. Go back and see that rant last week with me and
If
Richie.
you thought Chris was a boring wrestler, wait till you see amateur wrestler Mike Rotunda.
Yeah, right. We'll talk about that. This is a weird match, but anyways, let's get into it. We went back way back in the time machine for this week's retro review. But yeah, it ties into Sting's retirement. He mentioned it in the video packages and all that. His match with Ric Flair on this show.
Booker T, nice.
Booker T. Is there at least a match with Booker T on that thing? Or probably not, right?
I don't think so.
No,
probably not.
I'm sure they've had at least one match in WCW, but somewhere. Maybe JBL can fact check that. I'm sure on Cage Match. But anyways, we tied into Sting's retirement. He mentioned this match with Ric Flair on this show, kind of helping really make him a star and cement him as a star. So yeah, we're all kind of tying things back. This show is in Greensboro. Revolution was just in Greensboro, or at the same building, the Greensboro Coliseum, March 27th, 1988. So yeah, pretty close. Just about 6 days from now, 26 years ago, or 36 years ago, excuse me. I gotta go way back. I always forget that. That always screws me up. The 90s. I know, yeah. This I was 2 when the show aired, so I don't think I watched Clash of the Champions 1 on television at the time. But yeah, so yeah, very first Clash of the Champions, so very historical show here. Them trying to compete a little bit with WrestleMania, closed circuit television and whatnot. Again, trying to have kind of another big type show here. But yeah, we'll talk about it. But we got Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross on commentary tonight. Bob Cottle's also there, kind of their Mean Gene, doing interviews throughout the show and kind of helping open the show. But Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, who were also both at Revolution, calling Sting's last match. So those guys were still very much active for that one. We'll talk about who's still kind of active and whatnot and who's not. Maybe as we go through the show, it's always a fun, interesting game to play. But we kind of get right into it after an introduction with Bob Cottle.
I did enjoy the intro too, by the way. The question. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Question: do they have something in store for him? Question. Yeah, it was an interesting way to open the show. But yeah, we get right into it. The crowd, by the way, for the show, awesome. Crowd is lava hot for this show, and they were amazing. They made the show probably way better than I would have thought. Yeah, this crowd was on fire tonight for damn near everything on the show, constantly. So kudos to the crowd in Greensboro on March 27, 1988. They were ready for the show. But we start out with the NWA Television Championship in a very strange college rules 3 5-minute rounds match. Very convoluted rules for this one. They're gonna say they're gonna have somewhat of an amateur style match where you get the pinfall if you get a 1 count. That ends the match, but it can go up to 3 5-minute rounds. So yeah, a strange little stipulation of here, playing into Mike Rotunda, as we just said, his kind of amateur wrestling background here with the Varsity Club. But you have the champion, Mike Rotunda, taking on gorgeous Jimmy Garvin with his valet Precious, who, fun fact, are really married and are still married. At the time, married at the time, and are still married, and both still alive, and both still a couple. They've been around, been together for 30 or 40 years now. So,
Mike Rotundo, if you believe the announcer that they're
Mike Rotundo, yeah, but I believe it's Rotunda. Yeah. The ring announcer was not great tonight. It was. I think this was pre Gary Michael Capetta, so I don't know who this guy was. I didn't recognize him.
Tim Moore or somebody,
something like that. Yeah, but Mike Rotunda, who's out there with Kevin Sullivan, by the way, as part of the Varsity Club. So yeah, we start this very kind of strange rules matchup here with a little bit of amateur wrestling. There's a single leg takedown for Mike. Garvin kind of gets mad and fires up on Rotunda. Rotunda starts doing some jumping jacks, kind of showing off some of his athleticism and whatnot. Garvin fights back with an arm drag, hip toss, and body slam combo, getting the crowd going. Mike powders out to escape and consults with Sullivan for a little bit. Mike rolls back in, uses a reverse arm lock, but Garvin fights back with a big back elbow and almost gets the 1 count victory, but Mike Rotunda is able to slip out before the referee goes for the 1 count. Yeah, I literally have to say that because that's the rules of this matchup, which again was very strange. Garvin puts a headlock on the corner, pushes Mike all the way across the ring, showing his strength. Rotunda gets a cheap shot, drops Jimmy across the ropes with kind of a hot shot. He hits a big clothesline. And Jimmy, to avoid the pinfall, immediately after he gets slammed, rolls to his stomach, so he cannot get the pin, because if you get the 1 count again, it'll be over. But he rolls to his stomach to avoid the pin. Round 1 ends as we hear the bell for that. We get a 30-second rest period, but during the rest period, Rotunda takes another cheap shot. He runs over and punches Garvin right in the face. What an asshole during this rest period. We start round 2. There's Jimmy gets a couple of quick scoop slams. He goes to the top, Mike Rotunda goes up top and gets slammed off by Garvin. Garvin fights back with a big backdrop. Precious and Sullivan get up on the apron, but Jimmy knocks him off. The crowd kind of going nuts for that. But then Rotunda, during the distraction, rolls up Jimmy Garvin for the 1 count and wins. So he gets the 1 count on the schoolboy roll up and retains the title. But after the match, Jimmy Garvin hits his big brain buster on Rotunda in retaliation. Rick Steiner,
I didn't know
that looked really bad. Yeah, sure did. But everybody's in there kind of ganging up on Garvin. Rick Steiner runs in there as well and starts pounding on him. But Precious grabs a 2x4 at ringside, hits Rick Steiner with it. She then grabs a hanger, like a wire clothes hanger, and starts choking Kevin Sullivan. The crowd is literally jumping up and down for this. They are going absolutely bananas for Precious choking Kevin Sullivan with this clothes hanger. They are going absolutely crazy. And yeah, that's how basically the first match ended, with a big melee at the end and Precious kind of getting the upper hand on the Varsity Club. So yeah, a strange matchup, but ended pretty fun, with the crowd going crazy for some stuff. So we'll go around. Jacob, what do you think of this opener here?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Interesting rule set here. But I thought the action overall was pretty decent. And then I think the crowd made this show. Like you said, the crowd was pretty hot all night. And I think you could hear it in commentary too. Like the commentary was pretty spot on for the show as well. Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross, great duo. 36 years ago.
You can draft them next week if you want to. You can draft 80s Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. That's an option.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I thought like it ended fun. I thought the rule set was interesting, but I'd be curious to see if they ever did this again. But I thought it was a fun opener. I thought. I mean, the crowd liked it. I mean, we're in the days of no internet, no spoilers. I'm pretty sure out there, like, this is rumored to go down at Clash of Champions 1. Right. So they're just there enjoying the show, and it's like,
but it's one of those crowds that, like, if the baby face hits like a body slam, they go crazy. Like anytime they get offense, it's woo, yeah, go. Like, so again, that makes it much more exciting than probably what it would have been had you had a dead crowd. But JPO, what do you think of this opener here? These two guys and the strange rules.
There's a couple of precursor things real quick. Booker T and Bret Hart have fought 5 times on television, including
5 times?
Beach 1998. 5 times. 6 times, but one of them wasn't on television. 5 times. And yes, indeed, I have.
There it is.
Ricky Steamboat. No, that's Kelly. Ricky Steamboat and Kelly.
I have that DVD. That's the one where Cornette and Heenan were on opposite ends, right, for the match. That was historical.
Yeah, Cornette,
Heenan versus Heenan, on the different sides.
Joe, Steamboat's in there, and Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, weird way to start Clash of the Champions. You think they would just go like have a fun normal singles match, just in case this is someone's first viewing?
Right.
They didn't. So kind of a weird way to begin an iconic series. But I mean, at least it was interesting, I guess. I was kind of into like figuring out what the fuck was going on for a minute, and then the giant ass 2x4 in the end. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, no, for sure, Richie.
Yeah, look, I know, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder and everything, but it's interesting to see what looks women go for that. It's just interesting. Like Ronnie Garvin in the ring, women fucking went nuts. I'm like, for this hairy man, this fucking mullet. But then you pan to the crowd, and there's even women with mullets. Like, holy shit! All right,
everybody had a mullet. You get a mullet. You get a mullet.
The 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. This match is weird. It's like a mix between amateur wrestling and like Heritage Cup rules. If you watch like NXT these days with like Nomda, it was weird. And also, that brain buster looked ugly. I'm glad. I'm glad no one is hurt. But Jim Ross was bananas on the show. It was in a good way. It was good. But like when Precious was going after Kevin Sullivan, he's like, "She's protecting her man. She's protecting her man."
He was just excited that he didn't have to call a woman a Jezebel because he got big on that later. Jezebel. Yeah. But yeah, no, crowd went crazy for it, regardless of the wonky rules. At least it didn't go too long. It only went 6 minutes, 5-minute first round, and about a 1 minute and then into the other round. So, but yeah, well, we would amp things up very, very quickly with our United States Tag Team title match. If anybody doesn't remember, NWA had both United States Tag Champions and World Tag Team Champions because legitimately their division was stacked. They had so many tag teams on the show. When they run down the Crockett Cup later, you're just like, holy shit, there's a lot of really good tag teams here. And yeah, rightfully so.
Please, no one tell Tony Khan to debut the new tag team titles.
Yeah, right. The undercard tag team titles or whatever. They've already got the trios ones and the tag ones, so I mean they kind of do. But yeah, so we got our U.S. Tag Team title match. We got the champions, the Midnight Express of Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane, with their manager Jim Cornette, taking on the Fantastics of Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers. If you're not familiar with Bobby Eaton's mullet, take a look at that glorious line man right there. That's basically what it looked like. Oh my god, that thing went down halfway down his back. It was pretty glorious. Yeah, no, he had the biggest one, on this show easily. But yeah, this one starts out very, very fast. I mean, these guys are not fans of each other. These two teams are very heated rivalry here. It starts off literally right off the bat, off hot. They're all brawling at ringside very, very quickly. Fantastic start taking it to the midnight right off the bat. Inside the ring, there's a big double axe handle to Stan inside the ring. Fulton hits Eaton in the back with a chair. They're using chairs. They're throwing each other into the guardrails. Jim Cornette's getting in on the action. Inside the ring, there's a double team backdrop on Sweet Stan. They're back on the outside. They're throwing the announce tables at each other. Cornette's holding a chair for Eaton to throw Rogers into face first. Midnight end up kind of taking back over in the ring. Again, chairs are just getting thrown all over the place. We finally kind of start to settle it down a little bit in the ring as the Fantastics double team the Midnight Express by throwing him into the turnbuckles and turning him upside down. Inside out. Crowd is going absolutely, again, bonkers for all this, starting out fast. They are jumping up and down, going crazy. There's a turnbuckle 10 punches from Fulton to Eaton. On the outside, Rogers gets thrown into the corner turnbuckle and thrown inside to Eaton. And then the Midnight Express really take it to Tommy Rogers with a high-low. They hit him kind of the high clothesline, low sweep kick to take down Rogers. There's a big standing side karate kick to Stan Lane. He tags in Eaton. Eaton, by the way, has amazing right hands, by the way. He has fantastic punches, like some of the best in the business. Like him and Jerry Lawler had like some of the greatest kind of punches. Yeah, study those because they're great. And yeah, as they're working over Rogers, Cornette props up and holds up the one of the tables at ringside, like up against the ropes, and Rogers gets his head bounced into it. Again behind the referee's back, because Fulton's kind of going crazy trying to get in on the action, but he can't. So he goes head first into that. There's another tag, big elbow drop by Stan. Rogers tries to fight back. Every time he did, the crowd really going crazy trying to get him back into the match, but he gets power slammed by Bobby. And the power slam he hit him, it was amazing, by the way, like picture perfect textbook power slam by Eaton. There's a big top rope elbow drop, but he doesn't go for the pin. He tags Stan back in. Stan hits a big gut wrench suplex to Rogers as they're really working him over here and isolating him. There's kind of a top rope sort of forearm double team maneuver that they do to him. Again, just really taking the beating to him. Rogers tries to fight back again, but gets cut off. There's another tag into Stan. And Rogers is able to fight back and get a sunset flip on Stan, but the referee is with Fulton as the crowd is going nuts because he has the pinfall, but the referee is distracted. He can't get that pin. And Stan comes back with a karate kick right after that to put him right back down. Rogers again gets thrown to the floor, and there's the table. One of that announce table they've been using is just laying on the floor. He gets body slammed onto that. You think actually getting slammed on the concrete might hurt a little more, but they slam him on the table. And then again, Fulton's going crazy. The referee's with him. They bulldog him onto that same table on the outside. Rogers still just getting decimated here. Fulton tries to go to help, but gets sent back to his corner. There's a dropped toe hold elbow drop back in the ring on Rogers. Rogers again tries to fight to the tag as he tries to make it back. He leaps on top of Eden, but Stan comes back in to distract the referee. So he makes the tag, but the referee does not see it. Crowd again going crazy as he pushes Fulton back to the corner, and behind that, as all this is going on, Cornette jumps in the ring, hits a racket shot behind the back, and Bobby Fulton, damn it, has had enough of this shit, and he grabs Randy Anderson, he chucks him over the top rope. He's had enough. Crowd again just jumping up and down, going crazy. He's had enough. He starts clearing the ring here. Cornette accidentally nails Bobby Eaton with the tennis racket. He gets punched again. Crowd just. I'm not even joking. They're jumping up and down, throwing babies in the air. It is insane. They're going nuts for this. Fulton losing his mind here. They hit the rocket launcher finisher, which is the Midnight Express finisher on Bobby Eaton. They go for the cover. Tommy Young, a different referee, rolls in, counts the 3 count. We think we have new tag team champions here. The crowd is shaking the building, going nuts. But Randy Anderson comes back in. He reverses the decision because he was thrown and assaulted over the top rope. He reverses the decision and disqualifies the Fantastics. So the Midnight Express retain their titles here, and after the match, Cornette kind of lays everybody out with the racket, and they start whipping Fulton with the belt again, and then Rogers finally brings a chair in to kind of clear the ring. But yeah, this was wild. I wrote, this match fucking ruled. I loved every second of this. This was amazing. This is the greatest match I've seen all month. This is fucking awesome. The best match I've seen since the Will Ospreay Takeshita match. This match fucking ruled. It was amazing. So I thought this was great. Maybe a little spoiler, maybe my match of the night. I loved every second of this. This was awesome. Richie, what do you think of this?
Yeah, this match was great storytelling. Are the Fantastics in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know, but after this match, I'd put them in just for this shit right here.
Yeah, because maybe they more deserve serving than the US Express as well.
Midnight Express aren't even in. That's a crime.
Yeah,
so, just saying.
But yeah, this match is great. Great storytelling. Yeah, the crowd's going nuts. Look, sort of a noteworthy of the show is like, and like, older shows like this is like a lot of like women getting involved in like the crowd and stuff like that. You don't see that these days. It's just mainly men go. I don't know. I feel like somewhere along the line we just pissed off the women. I don't know if it was the Attitude Era. They're like, I don't want to watch wrestling anymore.
Hey, they like seeing these handsome gentlemen in the ring, doing their thing with their shirts off, nice and cut. There's some good-looking guys in here. Sweet Stan was a ladies' man. I mean, Tyler Rogers and Fulton to a degree. Good-looking guys, rock and roll, all that stuff. Yeah, women.
Yeah. But that's great, and I think everything worked. It was great psychology here, and it was a really fun match. I'd say one of the matches of the night as well. I really enjoyed it. So
JPO, what'd you think of this tag encounter here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see why this was a recommendation now, because that first one I was like, it's fine, but I know you had mentioned before that it picks up pretty quickly here on the second match here, and no, it really does. And this was also a pleasant surprise, the fact that like I know I've heard of the Fantastics. I actually really don't think I owned their shirt interview from Ring of Honor back in the day, but I hadn't known much about them. I don't think I've ever done too much of a deep dive. So I kind of want to see more of them now if their other matches are similar to this, because this was pretty cool. I don't know if I love the finish, but like it seemed pretty par for the course back then. But otherwise, this is great stuff.
One of those finishes, again, this is a TV show to kind of continue the feud, and they would have other matches, so which is fine. But again, crowd still, like, again, not that they were not into it, they were into everything. And you tease the title change, but take it a little back. We've seen stuff like that before.
I don't know if they conveyed the crowd that well. That like, hey, did the crowd? I guess the crowd eventually triggered on that, like it was reversing decision. I don't know. Did they convey to the crowd that hey, the referee? Yeah,
they did, because the guy got on the mic eventually and was saying,
I was sort of out at that point.
Original referee Randy Anderson has
I was sort of spaced out at that point, so I didn't know.
No, I mean, I think the crowd got what it was, because Tommy Young, the different ref, counted the finish, and then Randy, who got thrown out, reversed it. So I mean, I think they got it eventually. Jacob, what do you think of this one?
This was great. I think I'm with JPO. I don't know if I love the finish, but I mean, it's on TV. If this was a pay-per-view that people had to pay for, it's like, no, give me a finish, dang it. But I think it works to further the story. Again, like JPO, I don't know much about the Fantastics, but this definitely makes me want to go back and see some more, because I don't think we got enough of them on offense. They were mainly on defense for the majority of the match. So I'd love to go back and see like matches where, maybe it's 50-50, or, they can showcase, them delivering the moves a little bit more, because I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, for sure. No, I remember Cornette saying they actually had pretty great matches with the Fantastics all around. Like that was them and Rock and Roll were two of their favorite guys to work as far as the chemistry. You can tell these guys had chemistry. I mean, they probably called most of this, out there, just brawling around and just doing stuff. I mean, you could tell, and then bringing it back in the ring. They probably just knew the couple of those cutoff spots, stuff where the ref didn't see, the pin, or the ref didn't see the tag, things like that. But everything else they probably just did right in the ring. You could tell, but these guys are pros. But yeah, great stuff. I love this. We cut to Ken Osmond, as we were talking about earlier before JVO got here. Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver, we actually looked it up, JVO. I was like, he had a spinoff of like the new Leave It to Beaver, and I looked it up. It ran for 4 seasons. I was like, what? I didn't know this was a thing.
I don't know. I guess that.
It was a thing around the time. But we get this Eddie Haskell character in an obvious pre-tape with Jim Cornette, because we just saw Cornette involved in this, crazy match and brawl and whatnot. But obviously taped early in the day. They kind of have this very weird, awkward back and forth where they're just talking about Mama Cornette and going to visit the compound and going swimming and playing tennis, and it's just kind of a weird, like, he's trying to plug the show, but Cornette's like talking about his mom, and it's just odd back and forth where they each had bullet points they had to hit, but it kind of came across a little weird. But yeah, it was strange. I was taken back there. It's like, yeah, Eddie Haskell, okay, with Jim Cornette, that's something you don't see every day.
I kind of felt like this the way I felt like about the Rock president thing that we watched the other day. It was like, okay, this was weird, but why was this on the show?
You got to kill time in between matches, let the crowd calm down a little bit. So I get it. But yeah, I mean, so we get that a little bit. We get Al Perez with and Gary Hart with. I forgot to mention earlier. Bob Caudle talked to Dr. Death for a minute, but he just basically talked about going to Japan and then coming back and wanting to challenge for the title, the winner of the Ric Flair Sting match. That was about it. It wasn't super noteworthy. Al Perez and Gary Hart are with Bob Caudle. They challenge Dusty Rhodes. Kind of everybody's kind of feuding with Dusty essentially around this time. He was kind of one of their big stars. So everybody's talking about him. Al was not very good at promos. He kind of bumbles his way through his lines.
I think Steve Williams was like, you could tell like he was looking at like they're both looking at a teleprompter or something. I don't know. It just felt like
cue cards or something. Yeah, because they're kind of half reading. It's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, but yeah, this was particularly not great. Gary Hart had to do the workload, but yeah, Gary Hart.
There's a reason why, these guys had mouthpieces like Gary Hart, who were better at the things. But he basically says, for the moment, he's going to come for the U.S. title and try to get that. So we then cut to Francis Crockett announcing the 10 teams for the Crockett Cup. And again, I talked about when she ran them down, I was like, holy shit, there's some great tag teams on here. They had a hell of a division. So I can see why there's a lot of emphasis on tag team wrestling around this time in the NWA, because they had quite a few great tag teams. I'm not going to run them all down. You can go look them up if you want to, but she ran them down. We then get to our third match, which is kind of a culmination of a pretty famous angle where the Road Warriors were doing like a almost like a public workout type thing on TV with Dusty, and then they got attacked by the Powers of Pain, and they attacked like with a spike. They attacked Animal like in the eye, or it was a pretty famous angle at the time. So we kind of get the follow up to that as we have a barbed wire 6-man tag team match where they do kind of actually wrap the ropes kind of up and down, like a sound wave and barbed wire. We've got Ivan Koloff and the Powers of Pain, which are the Barbarian and the Warlord, against Dusty Rhodes, teaming with the Road Warriors. This is kind of a no rules sort of thing. The referee isn't even in the ring, I should note. It's really weird. He's like standing on the outside until they get the pinfall finish later. We'll talk about it. But Dusty and the Warriors kind of get the upper hand first, kind of jumping in the ring. Warlord gets raked on the barbed wire. Koloff gets raked on the barbed wire. All these guys kind of brawling in and around the ropes and the wires. Barbarian goes into the top turnbuckle post. The Powers, again, get raked on there. Hawk gorilla presses Koloff. That was always impressive when he would gorilla press these very large men. Dusty goes into the wire as well and gets kind of busted open above his eye. Dusty hits the big flip flop and fly, on Koloff, and then hits him with a big DDT. He also DDTs Barbarian to follow up. There's a big power slam by Animal onto the Warlord. Power slam was the favorite move of the night, by the way. There was like 800 power slams on this show. That must have been the new move that everybody was doing at the time. There's a whole bunch of them. Barbarian misses a big jumping splash, and then he accidentally hits the Warlord, and there's a 3 count in the middle of all this chaos. It was kind of hard to tell. There was a lot of just like bodies in the ring slamming into each other. But essentially, he accidentally hits the Warlord, and they get the pin on the Warlord. Post match, they again go after the eye of the Animal, who had like a hockey mask type thing on, like one of those like old school things, kind of trying to protect his eye. But they go after it again, trying to attack him. Koloff comes in with a chain and starts hitting Hawk with it, but Hawk's able to fight back, grab the chain, and kind of scare off everybody with it. And this didn't go very long. It was only about 6 minutes. There's a lot of chaos, not a lot of like wrestling moves. It was just kind of a bunch of big, large, scary dudes, slamming into each other for about 6 minutes, not doing a whole lot of big stuff. But I don't know, JPO, what'd you think of this one here? It was a little chaotic, not great, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it breaks it up, I guess. You know what I mean? We kind of go. I guess you needed something. Here's the good. You needed something to break up the 2 tags. Yes. So this makes sense at least. Yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, it's just kind of fine in there, and it's the second kind of forgettable match of the night to a degree.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. There's 3 great matches on here and 2 not so great matches, and this is one of them.
You gotta do something. If you had another tag, another really good tag, it'd be kind of too much.
But it's short, so it's not bad. Yeah, it's just a follow up to a blood feud, more of a story match. Yeah, it's a story match.
Yeah, and then something to keep in mind too. I keep viewing this almost as like a pay-per-view and forgetting that it's not.
No, it's a TV show. Yeah, it's a TV thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jacob,
it was fine. Yeah, there wasn't much here. Like you said, it was just kind of chaos in the ring, and then it was over.
Yeah, no, that was it. There wasn't much to it. Just to keep a feud going. I think they would have follow-up matches, obviously, later on, street fights and whatnot. Richie?
Yeah, I mean, not much to it. There was a point in the match where, I think Dusty does DDT. I don't know why I found that jarring. I guess because I haven't seen him do many DDTs. I went, fucking, he did DDT. Okay, cool. That's a cool point in the match. And yeah, because there was so much chaos, the camera missed the finish. I'm like, okay, I guess we're done. But I guess it was just something to kill time. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a brawl, you're gonna have the Road Warriors in it, and you're gonna have you're gonna have the pain in it. But and then Dusty didn't seem out of place, so it served its purpose.
Yeah, for sure. We then go to Bob Caudle again with.
I wanted to do a real quick too. You were mentioning people that are still active. Shout out to Warlord.
He's still doing stuff.
Yes, yeah. I've been to Warlord's bar where he was like the bouncer down in Florida. We actually used to go there for a lot of D1PW after shows because we had him on a couple of D1 shows and he would hang out at the shows. And he was a bouncer at a club nearby, so we actually would go there for after parties sometimes. So yeah, shout out to Warlord.
I did one show with him in Miami a few years ago. I washed my hands next to him. I was like, you still look like you fucking killed me.
He is. Yeah, no, he was still in great shape. He's a massive human being in person. Oh my god, that dude is enormous. And he was still doing shit. Oh yeah, no, definitely. So kudos to him. We then go to Bob Caudle with Nikita Koloff. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about in this thing.
I kind of do because I wrote down at first. I mean, I lost track after a while.
I lost track because he comments on 10 different things in this interview, and I have no idea what he's talking about.
But at first, he's talking about not having kids shouldn't do drugs or smoke or whatever. But it's I'm not gonna take. I'm not going to take advice about not smoking from a guy who sounds like he's got emphysema.
I should say, if you don't know Nikita Koloff, I wrote on 2 things. He looks like Kurgan, but then he sounds like Hans and Franz from SNL. So it's just kind of, right? I'm gonna, kids, you should do drugs, and it's like a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, which is what Hans and Franz kind of intentionally was. It's like, Dusty Rhodes is a shade. What happened to him? Is it Dusty? I'm gonna watch their backs. I'm gonna take care of them. I'm gonna go after the title. No matter if it's Ric Flair, or Sting, or not. He's just going on and on. I have no idea. He changed topics topics like 5 times in the middle of his interview. He's just rambling. Bob Cobb's just standing there while he's rambling. It's just I have no idea. This is. I started writing stuff down and then I stopped because he would change topics every 30 seconds. So I
think he called out Dusty as well at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like friends with Dusty. They tag together. He talks about because they're a tag team in the Crockett Cup as well. They would tag a lot. But he's talking about that. He's talking about the main event. He's talking about the attack. He's talking about he's talking about kids and drugs. I don't know what he's talking about. he's all over the damn place. So I just gave up and moved on. But yeah, even Bob Cobb was eventually just like, all right, Ed, back to you, JR. Just I can't even say anything. So, but yeah, we get our semi-main event of the night coming up here for the World Tag Team titles. As I mentioned, there are 2 sets of tag titles here with all its talent. We have our champions. The Horsemen of Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, accompanied by J.J. Dillon, taking on the challengers of Barry Windham and Lex Luger. And again, we talked about the Hall of Fame, Barry Windham going in with that tag team there. Horsemen against Barry Windham and Lex Luger here. Tully and Luger kind of get things started against each other. The Horsemen go to swarm all over Luger and attack him, but he fights him off, the big, strong Lex Luger, with a series of clotheslines. He hits a big power slam on Tully. Again, the crowd already going absolutely crazy for this. They're big into these tag teams. They're big on Lex Luger and Barry Windham. He goes immediately for the torture rack and almost starts to get it, but JJ jumps up and distracts everybody and the refs, so Arn can go in there and make the save, preventing the early submission. Arn and Tully start to work on the leg of Lex Luger, trying to take out the big strong man and his knees. Arn tries a spinning toe hold, but Luger's able to push off and tag in Windham. Windham starts fighting off both those guys. There's a big double noggin knocker to both of them. He hits a big flying lariat and a power slam for 2. Puts a sleeper on Tully, but he actually holds on to the sleeper and they roll all the way out to the floor, still putting him to sleep. Tully passes out, but he's out on the outside where he can't get the finish there. Tully hangs Windham up on the ropes up top and gets tossed off. I put this crowd is shaking this building. They are going absolutely bonkers for this match, and I'm not lying. I had to write that down at one point. They are going crazy for everything that Barry does here. There's an abdominal stretch to Tully Blanchard from Barry, which they are going nuts for. This is the craziest you'll ever see a crowd go for an abdominal stretch. I swear to God.
These days.
He puts the stretch on, and they are jumping up and down, hoping he taps this guy out with this abdominal stretch. JJ once again tries for a distraction here, which allows Arn to get inside and get a DDT. Tully covers, but only gets a 2 count. Arn then tags in and hits a huge spine buster, but only gets a 2.5 here as Barry's able to fight back. Tries to get a tag, but is unable to do so. He gets cut off. Windham hits a big cross body and then collides heads with Tully. There's a big collision in the middle of the ring. And then there's kind of a back and forth where they each go for some pins. They do the bridge up, that RVD and Jerry Lynn used to do a lot. They probably got it from one of these matches because it's almost the exact same thing where they kind of bridge up both on their backs. Still pretty impressive. There's a big overhead suplex. Barry Windham desperately needs a tag to Lex Luger trying to get it here. But Arn's able to stop Windham before he gets the tag, cutting him off again. Barry then kicks off Arn Anderson and once again tries to get a tag. Arn once again tags him. Crowd going absolutely crazy for each of these almost tag team events. Really teasing it here. There's a big double punch knockout. Arn falls over to Tully and gets the tag. He goes in and gets a slingshot suplex on Windham, which is his finisher, but Barry Windham fires up and kicks out of that. Again, crowd goes nuts for the big kick out there of the finisher. And then he finally gets the tag to Lex Luger after that. Crowd going crazy as Luger comes in and cleans house on both these guys with big clotheslines and lariats. Hits another noggin knocker. Tully hits a knee to the back of Anderson here. He's firing up with another big power slam. All 4 men kind of breaks down with all of them in the ring. Arn accidentally, JJ props up a chair in the turnbuckle for the Horseman to use here, but Arn gets thrown into it head first, and Luger covers Arn for the 3 count. We have new tag team champions. Crowd going absolutely bananas for this. JJ losing his mind, and we have new World Tag team champions of Barry Windham and Lex Luger. Very exciting stuff. Very, very fun. Great psychology here with them, working over Windham and him almost getting tagged a bunch of times. That's how you do a hot tag, by the way, not this double down, crawl over to the corner bullshit. I can't stand that in wrestling. That's what Cornette calls a cold iceberg tag. No, this is how you do hot tags, which I really appreciated. So, Jacob, what do you think of this tag title match here?
I thought it was really, really good. I don't know if it's quite as good as the other tag team title match, but it's close. I thought close. the action from start to finish was really solid. Yeah, the crowd was hot for it still. I know it's only a 2-hour show, but I mean the crowd being hot for 2 straight hours, good on them. And I think for the most part the talent delivered, and we got another really good tag team match here. The show kind of makes me want to go back and like just visit some tag team wrestling in the 80s, like, because I mean we got 2 really solid, straight up tag team contests on the show.
Yeah, you could go back and watch those Crockett Cups because there was nothing but like tag team tournaments and stuff. And I'm sure there were some amazing matches throughout those whole things. That's what they're building to, is this Crockett Cup coming up. And again, their tag team division was stacked. So I'm sure it was a lot of great matches in there if you ever wanted to go back and look at those.
Yeah.
JPO, what do you think of this World Tag Team title match here?
No, this is really good stuff as well here. Another very solid tag match. As Jacob said, might be fun to go back. I think I used to own one of the old Crockett Cup VHSs. I actually remember watching it a couple times. That's a fun little nostalgia look. They still do the Crockett Cup, I believe, for NWA now. They started it back up a few years ago. But I've always been a big Arn and Tully fan. Like, those 2 worked fantastic together. And it was fun seeing Luger and Windham. This is kind of a good reminder of like, oh yeah, this is why everyone thought Luger might have been the next big thing. You know what I mean?
And Luger would a couple of months later, just really a few months later, was main eventing with Flair at the Great American Bash. So they would definitely bump him up and give him that chance.
I think it's one of those where like when he's with workhorses, like an Arn, like a Tully, we just mentioned 3 horsemen, I guess. So in there with the right people. And I think even him and Windham, I think, had some good matches, right? Like, but against each other, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So no, this is really good as well. No, this also really holds up well. And this crowd, by the way, this is when I think it really started dawning on me that like they're just fucking loving, man. Clotheslines, they're popping, everything they're popping. It's a very
any slam, any moves, they just pop. Like,
it's a very unjaded wrestling crowd, which I love. It's just people that are there, from kids to women to everyone, that are just fucking loving everything.
A crowd that's 100% all in for the baby faces and 100% against the heels. Just anything they do, back and forth, yay boo.
Unjaded, very sweet 80s crowd. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Richie.
Whereas, like today, like I don't know if it was a quote attributed to MVP, but it's also it's somebody. But it's true, unfortunately, today that no one hates wrestling more than wrestling fans. But like this is the antithesis of that. This crowd's amazing. It's you watch this though, and it's frustrating because like you wonder why like the tag team division here is so stacked, and you go, why was Vince never a tag guy? Like, why he didn't ever it was never into tag teams, and like Luger was so over here, and then so over in his like second run in the CW, and he could never like replicate that push in WWE. He was never that as over in WWE because they tried to make him Hulk Hogan. But like just let him be Lex. If you let someone be there, be who they are, they'll probably get over. Well, I feel like we've learned that in the past when they stopped letting Roman Reigns be John Cena and just be Roman Reigns, and he got over. This match ruled. I think Horsemen have always been my favorite teams. Arn still looks the same than he did. But, I feel like even when like maybe when like Arn Anderson was born, he still probably looked 40 years old.
He's one of those guys like Tommy Lee Jones or.
No, it's funny. I remember as a kid when he retires in mid-90s. I remember thinking like, yeah, this man looks old enough. He looks like he's ready to retire. But then you look at a match like this, 10 years prior, you're like, oh, you look like you could retire any day now anyway. Yeah, he was born with a receding hairline, looked like he's 45.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the gene because his son Brock Anderson just looks like he's got that kind of
Brock's got at least a youngish face, but like he's got the hair of a 55-year-old.
Yeah.
And not the talent of Arn.
Yeah, not the rest of the ability.
Sometimes it doesn't always translate, genetically.
He's one of those rare exceptions where, unfortunately, I'm like, what's next for this wrestler? I'm like,
he's like the one Von Erich in the Iron Claw movie. It's just like, yeah, you probably don't have it.
Yeah,
Mike or whatever. Yeah.
What's next? Yeah. Yep.
Nobody was more upset that Cody left than Brock, because I feel like once Cody left, I think that was the only person pushing for Brock.
Yeah. But then, if you have a bad match with Malachi Black, anyway, but yeah, it's like where will Brock go from here? I'm like, that's the only time I'm like, probably another career.
I hope he proves us wrong, but like I could see one day he's in that list of like Scott Putski, David Sammartino, David Flair kind of list of like, hey, remember Arn's son, kind of list,
Eric Watts,
he's wrong. I think he was just Eric. Well, at least Eric kind of stayed around for a while. I feel like he's one of those guys that like I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear from him in like 5 years, But we'll see. I hope he was just wrong. I think he was just not ready for prime time yet either, and they pushed him too quickly,
Yeah, not everybody can be Randy Orton, It is what it is.
Very few are.
Yeah, right.
They did bring the Crockett Cup back in 2019, and then again in 2022, and then last year. And this was surprising. Last year's winners were Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch.
You muted yourself.
Why'd you mute yourself?
Shit, I had such a funny joke too. And again, what Barber was saying, he said Mike Knox, Trevor Murdoch. He didn't say 2006 winners. He said 2023 winners.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah. Well, Trevor Murdoch, they were pushing as like an old Dick Murdoch style, like old school heel. And that's the way it works. So I mean, I'm not surprised about like Murdoch's always been a big guy there. Right.
You know who they're pushing now? Paul Burchill. I swear NWA is like, who was hot at 07 in the mid-card?
Not even hot. Mike Knox, like just around.
just around.
Always hope for Kevin Thorne.
Yeah, Kevin Thorne.
I'm sure Deuce and Domino will be tag champions there at some point.
Yeah.
Oh man, get on it, Billy Corgan.
The Basham brothers will win the next Crockett Cup. You watch, it's coming.
I did watch, by the way. I tried. They're not on YouTube anymore. You do have to go to the CW app if you want to watch NWA, but it is free if you're ever bored.
Okay.
I believe
I was watching Cardona and EC3, and they pulled the old as soon as Blood became involved, Black and Whited it, which I was like, really? All right, whatever. You're fucking on the internet. Do we really have to? You're not on real TV.
Yeah, that's odd.
I mean, like, we can probably go on around another show, but like, how we talked about how like Moxley and Claudio would be a good tag team to win the vacant tag titles. They're not even in the fucking tournament.
Yeah, that was a bad call on my end. I totally was like, well, after that big win, they're gonna win the. Oh, they're not even in the fucking thing. Never mind.
And FCR, and they lost. Anyway, cool.
Hey, rankings matter, guys. Remember? Anyways, so we get to our main event. So we've been building up to here for the NWA World Championship. We got Ric Flair, the champion, taking on Sting. Just for reference, Ric Flair 39 at the time, and Sting was 29. So still ripe young Sting here at 29 years old. Still haven't gone. But yeah, Ric Flair already 39 here. So hey, still looks great, but he's 39. So most guys are, on their way to retirement at 39. He feels like he's just getting started. As we said, we got our judges at ringside because we have judges here for these NWA title matches that we'll get to. But yeah, a couple of the judges: Patty Mullen, the Penthouse Pet Frankenhooker, as you pointed out. We got Ken Osmond, as we've seen before on the show. We got Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years, who also said was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Back to the Future, a couple other things. He's at ringside, and then we got some other guys. I didn't write their names down, but they're kind of more like actual wrestling related.
Gary Justa and something.
Yeah, Scott something. I forget their names.
Sandy Scott, who's
Sandy Scott.
There's a reason for the end result of the match, but I think.
Yeah. So we got that going on, and then one of the other things about this match is J.J. Dillon will be suspended up in the air in a shark cage, and I felt bad for J.J. because spoiler alert, he had to stay up there for 45 fucking minutes. That sucked because he's in the shark cage above the ring so that he cannot interfere on behalf of Flair in this matchup. Yeah, so he is there. So we get things started here. We have as I said, a 45-minute time limit for this TV title match. We start off with kind of a woo off. Ric Flair gets his woos, Sting gets his woos to get the crowd fired up. Flair tries to do a hair takedown, but Sting quickly kips up and woos back in his face. Again, this is a long match, so strap in, folks. I'll do it as quick as I can. I promise, but it's a long match. So we got a little back and forth with some arm locks. There's a test of strength, which Flair loses. The story of this match, basically, as I'll get into it, is everything that Flair does, Sting hulks up and fires up, essentially. That's like the story of this match. He throws everything he has at him, but, Sting just keeps firing up. He just can't put the guy down and wear him down. So that's kind of the story of this thing, everything he tries. They do some chain wrestling. Sting hits some big leapfrogs after some Irish whips. He hits a huge gorilla press slam on Flair, and then a head scissors out of the corner, does a headlock takeover, but can only get a 2 count out of that. He kind of works the headlock for a little bit. Back up, Sting hits a number of shoulder blocks, goes back to the headlock, a couple more hip tosses, and more headlock takeovers. There was a long portion of headlocks in this match for about 10 minutes, I'll just say that. Headlocks and headlock takeovers. Sting fully in control here, but can only get a series of 2 counts. Sting hits another big shoulder block and a headlock. Flair pushes Sting into the corners, tries the chops, but Sting fires up after those chops. No effect on him whatsoever as he tosses Flair across the ring and drop kicks him. Sting gets thrown out over the ring, but he rolls right back in. Flair can't believe it. Throws this guy out on the floor. He rolls right back in. Nothing he's doing can put this young Stinger down. Sting hits 5 punches on the corner. He did this a number of times. He went up for the punches, but he didn't do 10. Every time he did 5. I don't know why 5 instead of 10. It was odd because that happened a couple times this match. But he hits a couple of shoulder thrusts. Flair tries to fight back with some gut shots and some more hard chops in the corner, but Sting fights back with another big press slam and then goes for a bear hug on Flair. He really wraps the bear hug. Flair's not tapping out, but he bear hugs him all the way down to the mat and tries to get a pin, but Flair kicks out and starts yelling about how much his back hurts. My back, my back. Sting misses an elbow drop, but he again jumps right back up. No effect on the miss. Goes for a Stinger splash, but he misses and hits his head on the top of the turnbuckle. But he also hits his arm in the process into the buckle. So Flair notices that, starts working over that arm. Sting gets whipped into the guardrails a couple of times, and in the ring, Flair trying to take over here with some chops, and again whips Sting very hard into the buckle. Drops a couple of knee drops right on the head of Sting. Using this opportunity now that he's hurt to try to really put it down to him. Throws Sting back out to the floor. He tries to get a chair, but Tommy Young stops him from using the chair as Flair whips him into the rails once again. Again brings it back in, hits some more chops and elbows, but Sting out of nowhere again just fires back up on Flair. Flair can't believe it. Knocks Flair outside of the ring. He goes for a Stinger splash on the outside as Flair's kind of near the corner post, but he misses again and hits his arm again. But Flair still trying to take advantage of that. Sting, again, even though Flair tried to capitalize, it's just too much for Flair. He hits a big suplex and locks in the Scorpion Deathlock, trying to get a submission, but Flair is able to crawl under the ropes and break the hold. Sting goes for a lariat on Flair, but Flair pulls down the ropes and ducks out of the way. And he gets, but again, he flies over the ropes, but jumps right back up to the top rope and hits a cross body because, nothing can hurt this damn young Stinger, as he hits a great cross body but only gets a 2 count. Flair fights back, hits some knee drops on Sting again, and instead of going for the arm, he tries the legs now, maybe setting up for the figure 4, trying anything he can to keep Sting down. So going to the legs now, starts chop blocking and stomping the legs of Sting, hits a big back suplex and locks in the figure 4, trying to make Sting tap out here. Sting trying not to tap out, really fighting back, but he fires up again, even while he's in the figure 4. Flair tries to lock it back in some more. He goes to the ropes, starts using the ropes for leverage behind Tommy Young's back, but Sting is eventually able to reverse that pressure. He turns over the figure 4. and putting Flair in trouble here. Finally gets broken up as Flair gets to the ropes. Flair hits another suplex. Sting reverses into his own suplex. Sting tries a standing splash, but Flair gets the knees up. Flair goes up top. As he does, gets tossed off by Sting. Again, crowd still going crazy. Sting pulls Flair groin first into the post, and then Sting puts on his own figure four right in the middle of the ring, trying to get Flair to tap out. But Flair, once again, is able to get to the ropes. As I believe at this point we get an announcement that there's 5 minutes left in the match there. 40 minutes in. There's only a few minutes left for Sting to get this title here. As the crowd hears that, Flair gets sent into the post. They brawl a little bit at ringside. Back inside, Sting hits a big lariat, but only gets a 2 count, really trying to amp up and get these pins, trying to do anything he can to put Flair down and get that title. Sting misses a Stinger splash and goes over to the floor again. There's a sleeper from Flair as he got busted open at some point in the match, as he's one to do, to get that red in his hair. So there's a sunset flip at some point, but Flair, Tommy Young catches Flair using the ropes, and Sting is able to get the sunset flip, but only gets a 2 count. Again, Flair kicking out. Sting reverses a Flair cross body, and again, only gets a 2 count. We're down to 1 minute here. So he's only got a little bit of time left. Sting hits another 5 punches. He hits a Stinger splash in the corner as the crowd's going crazy, as he is able to put on the Scorpion Deathlock, but there's only 30 seconds left to get this Flair to tap out. He's got it locked in middle of the ring, 15 seconds. Still trying to get the pressure, 10 seconds, and Ric Flair taps out, but after the bell sounds for the time limit has expired. And we go to the judges' scorecards. One of the judges declares it for Flair. Another judge declares it for Sting. And the third judge declares it a draw, even though we go to the judges to break the draw.
Sandy Scott declared.
I thought you're supposed to render a decision. That's why we went to the judges of who to go for. So because it is a split decision, legitimately, we have a draw, and because of a draw and Sting did not beat Flair, Flair retains the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in this 45-minute draw. So a lot happening there, but a lot of like repeated sequences and whatnot. Like there wasn't like a whole, like, it was like Sting would fire up, do some stuff, Flair would cut him off for like a couple of minutes, Sting would fire up again, do some stuff, Flair would cut him off, go to a different part of the body. It was very basic psychology. Definitely kind of stretched out to fill this 45 minutes here, but the crowd was still very much into it, and they ramped it up in the final couple of minutes, with the false finishes and the submission attempts and whatnot. But JPO, what do you think of this main event here? Did it live up to the hype of this, or no? What do you think?
So a couple of quick fun facts too that I was looking up while you're going through. These two, their first singles match would be just about a year before, in 1987. This is 88. They would continue to wrestle off and on until 2011. So nearly 25 years these two would have singles matches.
Including the final main event of Nitro, right? Ric Flair and
final main event of Nitro, and technically Flair's last ever singles match. Him and Sting fought on a TNA Impact episode. And then Flair's only other match would be that tag match 2 years ago with Andrade, Lethal, and Jarrett. So Flair's last singles match also goes now to Sting. If you include all the tags, 6-mans, battle royals, anytime these two were in a match together, 271 times these two were in some sort of match together. Lots of singles too. Lots of those are indeed singles. We had 271 times. These
Probably doesn't even include like house shows in there too. Maybe
usually
for like
it's cage match, so they're pretty decent. But I wouldn't be
pretty good about that.
A handful. They're pretty good. But there's I wouldn't be surprised if there's a handful missing. Yeah,
sure.
At least 271 times these two locked up at some point. But no, as far as this one goes, I think everything you said was kind of perfect here. It's a pretty darn good match. It is a little stalled for time. You can kind of tell, there's matches like that. Ring of Honor has even done that. Where like, oh, you're going for the distance, aren't you? Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you can tell. Kudos to JJ Dillon, chilling up in that thing for the entire time, and it knocks the wind out of my sails a little bit with that fucking judging thing, because that's the point. So if you're gonna do a draw, don't have judges. Just say, all right, time to draw. Better luck next time, instead of wasting time. Go to judges and for the judges.
Well, because technically, if they go to a time limit draw, you have the same finish because Flair technically retains the title anyways on a time limit draw.
That's what I'm saying.
Sting didn't beat him. You didn't need to go to the judges at all because Flair would still win.
All he did was waste you waste time in a nonsensical way to maybe give Sting hope. I don't know. That's weird. So I didn't get why they made that decision. But it's a good first, like you said, first I think major, as we've all said, major test of Sting, and he looks good. He looks like $1 million. People are into him. People are into the match. So.
No, he didn't get blown up or anything. Or at least what I could tell. Yeah, I mean, he looked great. Yeah, he was still firing as quick as he was at the end of the match, the beginning of the match. So they
paced it. They paced it well. I think I don't know if Flair knew that or just Sting helped with that, but they paced it pretty well.
I'm sure Flair kind of probably laid out most of this, and they probably called a lot of this in the ring too. Flair does that.
Like I said, it's not the first time these two fought. They had several matches before this.
Yeah, I'm sure they did a lot of the same sequences. Hey, hit me with a to the power slam sequence. Do that. Hey, do the thing where you miss the thing, and we'll go into this thing. Hey, I'll work over your leg for a little while. I'll work over your arm for a little while. Whatever. Like pretty easy stuff. So yeah, Richie, what do you think of this main event here?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I think it did live up to the hype. But I did enjoy it. And there's not really much more like I can add here really. It's interesting that like Ric Flair and Sting have had all these matches, but every time Sting tagged with him, he's like, no, I can trust this guy now. I can definitely trust this guy now.
I can trust the dirtiest player in the game.
No, you're just being naive. I have no sympathy for you at this point, Sting. But because there's no, at least in like boxing and like MMA and stuff, you got like a 10-point must system to work off, right? Like they don't really have a system to work off. Like they're just like, I just think that person won. So like the fact that you could be like, to draw, you basically went to the judges for quite to be like, I don't know, beats me. I wasn't watching. I was distracted. I wasn't watching. It put a bit of a damper on it. I guess, but I mean the crowd was hot. It's weird, like in 2024, like having like JR go, oh yeah, like Sting has got the youth on his side.
Well, he did in this match. He did. He's only 29 here, so he did.
That sounds like something JR would still say now, though.
Yeah, that young man Sting.
That young Kota Ibushi and Sting.
That young Jeff Jarrett, man, what a spry young fella.
There was a moment where, like, I think it was like, was it like Ric Flair got like crutch into the turnbuckle or whatever, and then like the ref pulled him out. I don't know whether he legit got stuck. I don't know. It was weird. I think the match is good. It's not to throw shade, but I think it was a good job at keeping the pace without blowing yourself up. I wish Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart took notes before doing their Iron Man match. That was boring. I keep saying that they didn't need to. I understand taking risks, but you didn't need to make the match boring. So but this is perfect. You kept the crowd going, you kept the pace, but you also without blowing yourself up. This is how you do it. And I thought this match was really good. Best match on the show, I'm not sure, but like it's still great.
We'll talk about that. What was scores and
I'll say no.
Yeah, Jacob.
Okay, no anticipation. Just
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well paced. So they didn't like blow themselves up for the 45 minutes. I'm with JPO where the decision at the end does take a little bit out of it for me. Like, why? It's a draw, and I don't know if they've used judges again since then.
They've used judges on other ones. I remember like Flair and Funk having judges at ringside, but like they had to finish, so there's no point in that. I feel like this was an NWA thing for like 2 years, and then they dropped it. But again, if you're gonna do a time limit, it doesn't matter.
Right.
TNA first debuted on Fox Sports, and that they did it occasionally too. Okay. They had shown time limits on every match. If you remember the early days of Impact.
Yeah,
and I think AEW does it for pure. I mean, when they did. I mean, ROH does it for pure rules matches or whatever it is. But like they never actually go to the judges.
I totally went in here expecting this to be my favorite match on the show, and it might be 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, for sure. So let's get to kind of wrap up. Maybe what you guys give it out of 10, and then maybe your match of the night as far as what we got. So we'll go around. Richie, would you give this out of 10 in your match of the night?
Yeah, honestly, I like sort of Jake alluded earlier. I think the crowd generally, like this show would be a banger without if it was just an okay crowd. But like, yeah, I think the crowd kind of knocks it up a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna say like a solid 9. And I think I'll say the tag match, the midnight, the Fantastics and the Midnight Express. I think that was the best overall match, which kind of perfect psychology and didn't have a dull moment at all. So I'll probably say that's my favorite match, but it's close. So yeah, and a really good show. So I'm glad because I've only watched the Sting and Flair match before, so it was good to watch the whole card in entirety.
Yeah, for sure. JPO, what'd you give this one?
So I'm with you on match of the night. Yeah, I think it's the first match. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It kind of makes every minute matter, every second matter here. The last one is really good, but again, it feels like they're trying to get to that last stretch. And the finish is even worse than the first one. At least the first one is kind of leading to something. This finish here is just kind of weird. So I try not to hold it too much against the match. And I'll curve the rating a little bit because it's the TV special. Because I was kind of leaning to like a 7.5. But as far as the TV special, because I do feel like you're obviously leading to other things, I'll say an 8. When 3 are like kind of like semi like, hey, go out of your way to see, and like the other 2 are at least like different too. Also, you know what I mean? Like they're not just bad to be bad. They're both at least watchable. Yeah. I'll say a solid 8.
Yeah.
The finishes were better. I'd say this was a 9, 9.5 if you didn't have shitty finishes.
Gotcha. Jacob?
I'll go in between and go with an 8.5 because I think if this was a pay-per-view, it might.
We got ourselves a Jacob sandwich.
Yeah.
If this was a pay-per-view, I might lower that a little bit, but the fact that you got this on free TV and 3 out of the 5 matches are like absolute bangers. I think you had a solid show here and a solid kickoff to Clash of the Champions. I think there'd be like 25 of them or something like that.
Something like that. They kept doing them all the way up to like 97 or something, or 98,
like that or something like that.
Yeah,
for a year.
I missed them when they were gone. I don't know why they stopped. I guess it's a TV thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go 8.5. Yeah, same match of the night as well.
Yeah, for sure. I might actually be with Richie. I might go as far as like a 9, especially again for a TV like 2-hour special. This is like about as good as a TV 2-hour thing as you'll get. This is pretty damn amazing when you have 3 matches that are just like off the charts great, and then even the other 2, even the opener, it was short, it had weird rules, but like the crowd was still like super hot for everything, and even the stuff that happened afterwards to progress the storylines. The 6-man barbed wire thing was a chaotic, crazy 5 or 6 minutes, but again, still big personalities. The crowd was still super into it. But yeah, I mean, I know we talk a lot about crowds, but like crowds can definitely like make a show really memorable. And I think this is one where like, oh my God, they were on fire for this entire show. And it was insane. Like they made these matches even better. But yeah, that Midnight Express Fantastics match, I watched it twice. Like I was watching it before we watch it again before we went live tonight. I had some times. I was like, I'm going to put that match on again. And God damn it, that was a great match. It's really great stuff. Really, really fun energy, great psychology all throughout the show. The other tag match was awesome too, as far as just more traditional kind of tag team match, heels versus faces. Really, really great stuff. So I highly recommend this show. I think the show's great. So yeah, we picked a good one here with this Clash of the Champions. So really good stuff.
It would be 35 until 97. Yeah.
35.
Yeah. So I know they went for a while. But yeah, that'll do it for Clash of the Champions. So yeah, really good show. Go out of your way to if you're gonna watch it and you don't want to watch the whole thing, at least watch those 3 matches. Watch the 2 tag matches and the main event. They're all really good.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right. Jacob, take us out, man.
That was a fun show. And then next week we will not be covering a show, but instead we will be doing a draft. We haven't done a draft in a while. and so we're doing like sort of a decades draft here, where we are going to have 24 picks, 6 from the 90s, 6 from the 2000s, 6 from the 2010s, and 6 current picks. And then when constructing your card, people from the same decade cannot go against each other. And of course, once the person is picked, they are off the board. So if somebody drafts 2000s Shawn Michaels, 90s Shawn Michaels is not available. If somebody drafts 90s Cactus Jack, Mankind and Dude Love are no longer available as well. And then for a bonus 25th pick, you can pick a specific commentary team from a decade as well. So like 90s or 2000s JR and King or something like that. So that'll be your bonus 25th pick. And you can pick that whenever you want to. It doesn't have to be like the last pick. Like if you really have a commentary team that you want to get, then pick them whenever. But that'll be what we're doing next week, as long as any news, as well as any news that comes out regarding Mania or anything AEW, or who knows, maybe more Bloodsport news. Another WWE versus TNA match getting added. We'll see. But that's what we're doing next week. But between now and then, JPO, what do you got going on?
This just announced Matt Riddle will be challenging Jinder Mahal at Bloodsport.
We were talking about how it was weird that Riddle isn't on Bloodsport yet because it's like his show and now he's free.
Well, the thing is, who knows, it was his show, so maybe Barnett doesn't want him, or he's busy, or he's expensive. I don't know, because like it's not his show anymore. It has been for since literally I think only the first one. So yeah, I'm guessing he's either busy or too expensive, or maybe Barnett has a problem. I have no idea. But I would have thought he would have been one of the first people announced. I believe Ziggler's on it though. Nick Nemeth, I believe, will also have a Bloodsport match.
Oh yeah, they did announce something for him. Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense because that was actually a thing I thought on Raw Underground. If you remember, they showcased him like a week or two, and I was like, oh, this could be a new revamped Ziggler, being more of a badass shoot fighter, which he does have an amateur background. But then he just stayed the
Nick Nemeth and Mike Bailey at Bloodsport.
Oh yeah, that's a sick match.
I kind of wanted to see that as a normal match because Bloodsport actually
with no ropes. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
honestly. After you've seen 3 or 4 of them, you're kind of like, hey, can we put the ropes back in? You're kind of blending in, no offense.
But it does have that thing where the matches can literally end at any time because of the knockout rule and all that kind of stuff.
If you look at the results, they usually are kind of short. They usually are in the 3 to 7 minute range.
Yeah, 5-6 minute matches. Yeah,
there's only so much you can do.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, that's Bloodsport. I'll probably watch that and give it a semi-review because I believe you can find all those Mania shows for one price on the Triller/Fight Network.
I might actually have to get that this year and check out some of these shows. Yeah, because they get a lot of big stars and
the GCW's both the Spring Break, the Bloodsport, the Gay Brunch, and then it's a couple others, all for the same price. So it's worth it. And then I know the Ice Box
show. Mania where they do the clusterfuck battle royal.
Yeah. I believe this year. They have skipped it some years, but I believe that's happening this year.
Chonos Sapodini Saucedo are in it again.
They've had R.I.P. Virgil, Dink the Clown. You never know who the fuck's gonna be in that thing. Yeah. So as for plugs, what was the point of this before we got distracted again? The Periscope channel will be starting the tag team tournament soon here. All these lovely people will be in there, even though Richie's suing me because of his round 1 pick. You have a shot. And also the Pierce Wrestling channel. Catch me at Lights Out, your new divisional champion over at Lights Out. Why We Love Horror, Combat Wrestling Trivia on Twitch, Multiplex, this channel, that channel, all the channels.
All the channels, all the time. That's right.
Richie?
Yeah, you can catch me on Wrestling with Trivia tomorrow at 8 p.m.
WT returns, baby.
Yeah, I feel like I've done that for a while, so that'd be fun. And then
that's where I'm the number 1 contender.
No,
I tried booking that match. You fucking figure out when you want to do it.
He's on vacation for the next week, I'm pretty sure. So.
Excuses.
And yeah,
He's ducking me.
Look, it's my turn now. Shut up. And and then
Pez, mute him for me.
I've also been trying to get you on countdown for the last 2 weeks.
Directly after that, I'll be on. Oh, not directly after that, but like not long after that, I'll be on a tournament of fights doing Austin's after the 128.
Yeah, all my fellow Lonely Marks will be there. Yay!
Which,
I promise 64 new movies.
I look forward to new movies.
Oh, really? You think
Well,
that would be given?
Yeah, I know.
Given.
Not to say that some of these movies have not been on tournament fights before, but they were not on my 128. I cross-checked them with it underneath it. They are not. They're all fresh.
You're doing the thing that makes absolute sense? Oh,
yes,
okay.
I'm doing the thing that makes absolute sense. Yes.
I did the same thing when making my list.
Right.
You mean the thing that makes absolute sense?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, I'm also in the tournament, which I'm I'm suing. I can't say lawyering. You know, that's a tongue twister. Lawyering up because we got a bad draw, but hey, we might win. Me and Jake teaming up as Lonely Marks versus kicking them bass, or whatever the fuck.
I don't ask me how to pronounce that shit. I don't
Kimbas. Hardball.
David Nishimoto and Brandon Cohen. Look, I'm gonna bring my A game, and I hope you bring your D game. Not looks more dirty than I tried to. Yeah. Anyway, and all the other places you can find me as well. Other trivia spaces. I'm everywhere, so check me out there.
Yeah. All right, Pez.
Here on the Movie Hero Network. That's where I'm mostly at. I do other trivias, but it's on all these guys' channels. I pop up on ASAT. I'll be in that tag team tournament with me and Jordan as Team Movie Hero as we did last year, and we got Why We Love Horror matches, things like that. So, it's just mostly here on the Movie Hero Network, just co-hosting every other damn thing on the show.
My Why We Love Horror drops tomorrow. Me and Steve Mason are team Skeet Ulrich.
Waka waka.
But if you're not announced like that, I'm not watching.
He should. I feel like they never sell it like they should, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can find me here most of the time as well, every Thursday for the most part. And then every other Saturday with a podcast about movies. We'll be back this Saturday talking some movies that we spun from our blind ranking episode. So we'll be doing The Terminator, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Mars Attacks, and Hot Fuzz.
All movies in my 128, so you will not see those movies on my after the 128.
But that's a solid list, though. Ooh,
it was a good. Yeah, I was pleased with the choices that because there's always been one that was like, okay, that's fine. But this time it's like all four of these are great movies, and I'm looking forward to talking about them. So I have to do my rewatch of Hot Fuzz because it's been a while though. So I'm gonna get that.
I've seen all these movies are on 128. I don't even need to rewatch them. I know those movies back and forth, so I'm good. I'm good, which is good because I got other shit I gotta watch. So yeah, we spun some good stuff.
Yeah, and then I'll also be on tomorrow night. Seeing what makes Austin's after the 128. So that should be a fun time. Mm-hmm. So tune in tomorrow, 9 Eastern, to see what makes the list. Hit that bell, share, subscribe, like, do all the things. Follow these guys everywhere they're playing trivia or talking movies, wrestling, whatever. Until next week, Austin, why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here on the Lonely Marks here on the Movie Hero Network. We have been the Lonely Marks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.